Welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
Welcome everyone to the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, where tonight the 6th-ranked team in the country, the 8-1 Florida Gators, host the defending national champion LSU Tigers, who are struggling through a rough season at 3-5. It's the final home game for Florida. Final appearance on this field for 27 Gator seniors, including Kyle Trask having a record-shattering campaign that has him at the center of the Heisman Trophy conversation. Time for one last picture for the Florida seniors on Steve Spurrier Florida Field. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by PlayStation 5. This is the SEC on ESPN. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. We're going to go out and rob a bank as soon as we're done with this on camera. We'll be joined in a moment by Todd McShay. They can't tell that we're smiling with these things on. They've been smiling here in Gainesville all year. It's been a terrific year. They know they're going to play for the SEC championship in Atlanta against Alabama next week. But they want to get into the Final Four, the college football playoff. That requires a win tonight. And Kyle Trask is also trying to enhance his Heisman candidacy.
His season has been unbelievable. I mean, it just gets better and better each game. And I think Dan Mullen and Florida will continue to do what they've been doing, and that's put the ball in the hands of their senior quarterback and let him do his job. And he has been like watching a conductor, just distributing the football to all of his weapons. And they've got guys beyond their tight end, Kyle Pitts. Kadarius Toney is an electrifying slot receiver. And then Trayvon Grimes on the outside is 6'4", 218-pounder with great speed. It's been really fun to watch. They're a pass-first offense, and Kyle Trask is leading this offense beautifully.
Well, we do have some late-breaking news. Kyle Pitts, the great tight end Todd just spoke of, participated in the warm-up, but we are told that he is a last-minute scratch. So let's go down to the field. Welcome in Todd McShay. Todd, what can you tell us about Pitts? And that's a big loss without him playing.
It's a huge loss, Sean. I talked to Dan Mullen right before he walked out of the locker room, and he said, listen, Kyle Pitts wants to play. He warmed up, and I saw him. He looked great. He was dying to play in this game, but the training staff said he was a little beat up from a week ago, and the head coach finally made the decision, Dan Mullen saying, you know what, he's not going to play tonight. We're trying to just make sure he's 100% when it comes to next week. And it makes a lot of sense, but it's unfortunate because we all want to see Pitts, who I think outside of Devontae Smith, the Alabama wide receiver, is the biggest difference maker in all of college football on the offensive side.
Here come the Gators, trying to extend their home winning streak to 13. LSU and Florida, a great SEC rivalry, and the opening kickoff from Gainesville after this.
We're watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
We'll have about 17,000 on hand. That's what they're allowing, about 20% of capacity. This is the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. Florida trying to continue its drive toward the college football playoff. LSU trying to avoid a losing season. If they lose tonight with just one game left after tonight, it'll be a losing season for Ed Orgeron and the Tigers, and they would be the first defending national champion to have a losing season since the 1943 Ohio State Buckeyes. That Buckeye team lost several players to World War II. Of course, LSU lost a lot of players to the NFL draft after their 15-0 season of a year ago. Suspensions, opt-outs. It's been a very difficult year. LSU won the toss. Florida kicked off. It's actually LSU that kicked off. Avery Atkins. What a year it's been for Kyle Trask. 360 passing yards per game. Second in the country behind UCF's Dylan Gabriel. Very accurate. Great size for the fifth-year senior. Very much at the forefront of the Heisman conversation. He's 6'5", 240. Fifth-year senior from Manville, Texas in the Houston area. And he opens Out of the shotgun, fires into traffic, and that pass is broken up by the true freshman, Eli Ricks.
Yeah, watching Kyle Trask this year has been so fun because he knows who he is. You know, he's not a guy who's going to escape and extend plays and make a lot of plays with his feet, but he moves well in the pocket. He's big and strong and can see over the rush, and he's incredibly accurate and knows where he wants to go with the football.
He's thrown at least 3 touchdown passes in every game this season, all 9. He's going deep, has a man open. It's the senior, Kadarius Toney, dragged down by Cordell Flott at the LSU 31-yard line, a 44-yard completion.
The thing that Kyle Trask does is he finds the matchups. He finds the one-on-ones. And Toney is the leading receiver on this team. That's his 54th catch on the season. An electrifying slot receiver working on Cordell Flott.
They swing it out. Damian Pierce, the running back, chopped down after a pickup of 9. It was Jay Ward who made the tackle, sophomore from Moultrie, Georgia.
And that's the kind of play that Dan Mullen says, we'll do this instead of run. They're not running the football with a whole lot of success, but those kind of passes to their running backs are just the same as outside run plays.
Dan Mullen, the head coach, calls most of the plays in concert with Brian Johnson, the coordinator. Trask to the end zone, and it is batted away. Intended again for Kadarius Toney, and Jay Ward broke it up.
LSU historically has played a lot of man coverage. I mean, you've got to have a short-term memory loss if you're a corner in this kind of a defense. That was a very well played defensive play by Jay Ward on Toney.
Dan Mullen's done a terrific job in his 3 seasons here as head coach after an outstanding run at Mississippi State. He was the head coach there for 9 years. Took them to 8 straight bowl games. They mix in a run to pick up the first down on 3rd and 1. Damian Pierce tackled by Glenn Logan. Very thin LSU team. They arrive here with just 54 scholarship players tonight. That's been the story of their season.
Particularly thin at the linebacker position. Can't even afford to have another injury there. Keep an eye on Jabril Cox, number 19, transfer from North Dakota State, having a great year.
Weaving through the traffic. Nice run by Pierce, the junior from Bainbridge, Georgia. He made the 14-yard line. Damone Clark, one of those linebackers, made the tackle. There's Kyle Pitts. We visited with him yesterday. There was no conversation that he wasn't feeling well. He did suffer a concussion, missed 2 games, but he came back for the last 2 games. This might be precautionary more than anything else, as Todd McShay said. Trask on target, and it's a first down. They have an excellent backup tight end in that man, Kamari Gamble. That's his 9th catch of the year.
But this is the part of the field where you really miss Pitts because he's such a matchup problem in this part of the field. They can put him out wide against the corner. They can put him inside against a linebacker. And Kyle Trask has been phenomenal in the red zone, and a big reason for that is because of Kyle Pitts.
And just so everyone knows, he looked great, Pitts did, during pregame warmups.
They hand it off to the motion man, Pierce, and a good tackle at the 6-yard line by the true freshman, Eli Ricks, who's been thrown into the fire out of necessity. Got his first start last week against Alabama, and he is one of the bright spots this late season. And
there was some question whether he could even play today. He's been bothered by a hip pointer that he got in a game a week ago, but that was a heck of a play in the open field.
He missed most of their practices this week, but any available man is going to be put into action for LSU tonight. Second and goal from the 6. Pierce again. Dan Mullen says, sure, we'd like to be balanced, but I'm going to do what we do best. And this year, what we do best is spread people out and throw it the vast majority of the time.
Yeah, and they throw to their backs a lot. That's 50 receptions that their 3 running backs have. So again, they found the best way for them to be successful. It's the #1 pass offense in all of college football. and it fits the skill set of Kyle Trask.
I remember talking to Dan last year right before the Orange Bowl, and he was saying, you know what, I was banging my head against the wall trying to run the ball, but when Trask became our quarterback, I knew we just had to go closer to 70-30 instead of 50-50 run pass.
And there's the old Tim Tebow play, and it got batted out of the air. Looked like it was going to be a quarterback draw, and they stopped, tried to throw the pop pass, and Jacoby Stevens said, I've seen enough of that one over the years.
Yeah, here's Jacoby Stevens. He's the only guy there. I thought a quarterback run might happen here, but Jacoby Stevens, with his eyes right on Kyle Trask, made a nice play to get the stop.
He is the leader of this LSU team, one of only 4 starters from the national championship win over Clemson at the end of last season, who is still out there tonight for LSU. Here's Evan McPherson, one of the best field goal kickers in the country. This is a chip shot, a little more than an extra point. Movement along the lines. It's a goal-to-go situation, so even if it's against LSU, it won't be a first down, but you wonder if they get a little closer if Dan Mullen would ponder going for the touchdown instead of the field goal.
Well, Kyle Trask, you can tell he wants to. He's right out there at the 20-yard line trying to get back on the field. John Hevesy, the offensive line coach, looks like he wants to, and it looks like Dan Mullen is agreeing with him.
If the field goal unit comes off, the crowd likes this decision.
Now again, Kyle Trask is not a particularly mobile guy, but he is big. He's 6'5", 240. So if you call some kind of a quarterback run where you get an extra blocker, I mean, he is a big body that can get the ball into the end zone.
He does not have a rushing touchdown this season. Malik Davis in at running back now. They give it to him, and that beleaguered LSU defense rises to the occasion. It's Jacoby Stevens leading the way again. Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator. It's a terrific stop from that defense.
Neil Farrell on the inside did a great job. Watch 92 stand up the center, and they get the stop. Big play by the LSU Tigers.
After the goal line stand by the LSU defense, the offense on the field, and a tough way to make your first career start for Max Johnson, the true freshman who has appeared in relief in 4 games this year. Excellent size, as you see, 6'5", 219, and a good athlete. They just want to get him a little breathing room. They call a quarterback sneak and get out to the 3-yard line. There's his dad, Brad Johnson, 15-year NFL quarterback. Of course, won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, coached by John Gruden. Played his college ball at Florida State. Very proud of Max. As a matter of fact, he was Max's quarterback coach in high school the last couple of years at Oconee County in Georgia, near Athens. Ty Davis Price is the running back. It's a deep throw and almost intercepted. Jared Jenkins, the intended receiver, and Kyer Elam was in coverage for the Gators.
The good news for LSU on this play is they had excellent protection for Max Johnson. This is a very aggressive pass rush team. Take a shot down the field. Elam in great position, but good pass protection by LSU on that first pass.
It's one of the reasons Coach Orgeron decided to go with Johnson. He's a bit more mobile than TJ Finley, who started the last 5 games. That could be helpful against the pressure defenses of Florida. He throws on the run, just a short completion. Nowhere near the first down for Jared Jenkins, who was taken down by Marco Wilson.
Well, you have to be smart there for your new quarterback. You take a shot down the field. Florida defended it well, going to get the ball back to their offense in good field position, but you can't ask the freshman quarterback to do too much more than that from the 1-yard line.
He's a left-handed quarterback, and they rolled him out to the left to try to get him comfortable, but Wilson just did a great job in man-to-man coverage.
Darius Toney back for the punt. Zach Von Rosenberg, the 30-year-old punter, oldest player in college football this year. He's had an excellent year. It's a fair catch made by Toney near midfield. So that LSU defense stopped Kyle Trask and the Gator offense at the goal line, despite playing without the terrific cornerback, preseason All-American Derek Stingley, who's been banged up all year. Most recently, it's a quad issue. He didn't practice most of the week. He warmed up tonight, but decided he could not give it a go. And that's another huge loss for LSU in a season filled with them. Malik Davis is the running back to start this possession. Big hit after the catch was made by Keon Zipperer. He got blasted by Cordell Flott.
Zipperer is one of those other tight ends. Again, we talk about Kyle Pitts, and Ricks is down at the end of that play. Well, Kyle Pitts is the most electric of this tight end group, but all three, Zipperer, Pitts, and Gamble, have been productive in the pass game for Kyle Trask.
They're looking at Eli Ricks. They're already playing without Stingley, their best corner. Certainly can't afford to lose another corner in Ricks.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits, and in part by Disney Safety. Now streaming on Disney+.
After review, targeting, defense, number 25, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Number 25 is disqualified for the remainder of the game.
Well, this is almost unbelievable, except you're an LSU fan, you believe it, because that's the way the season's gone. Stingley warmed up, didn't go. Flott, another defensive back, ejected. Eli Ricks injured on that same play in which Flott was ejected. He's out. Those are their top three corners starting tonight. Flott plays a lot of nickel. Here's Malik Davis, shoved out of bounds at the 6-yard line by Jacoby Stevens.
So now you have Darren Evans in the game as a corner. You've got Dwight McGlothern, who's not even on our boards. Number 2 is out there as a corner too. Bo Pelini, I mean, he just doesn't have enough bodies to throw out there right now against this pass offense.
And they didn't have enough when they got here. You know, we mentioned 54 scholarship players traveled. That included Stingley. So now 53 available, 52 without Flott. Who knows what's going on with Ricks? We'll try to get a report. Trask in the flat and caught by Justin Shorter, the transfer from Penn State, who's just short of the goal line, down at the 1.
One of the beautiful things that Dan Mullen and Brian Johnson, as offensive coordinator, Billy Gonzalez, the wide receiver coach, have done with this offense. They lost 4 receivers to the NFL as we take a look at the end of that play from the Progressive Pylon camp. But they rotate a lot of guys in. They play a lot of backups, and so they keep their guys fresh.
Fake to Davis, and the receiver Shorter fell down, and it was almost intercepted. And that is Dwight McGlothern, who you were just talking about, a true freshman from Houston, forced into action, 3 tackles all year. I mean, he is listed at 4th string on the depth chart, and he almost made a huge play, thrown into the game really in an emergency situation.
You got to give them a lot of credit to LSU. This defense down on the goal line and what they've done the last couple of times, they're playing hard. They've got so many guys that are gone, as you guys are talking about. 16 guys on NFL rosters from a year ago that are gone, and then you get 4 opt-outs, you get 2 injuries, and they're still battling.
And they've had players transfer out. It's an entirely different team after the 15-0 season, first in SEC history last year. Led by the Heisman Trophy winner, Joe Burrow. Ed Ogeron says his team has played hard. Clearly they are here tonight. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the great running back. He went off to the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Burrow had perhaps the best season anybody's ever had at quarterback in college football. In all, 35 players. They lost both their defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda, and Joe Brady, who ran the passing game for them. And yet they were ranked number 6 in the preseason.
Yeah.
AP poll. Certainly the expectations were higher than this, and Ed Orgeron admits that. But we mentioned the note at the beginning of the game. They would be the first reigning national champ in the poll era, which started in 1936. The first since 1943, Ohio State, to have a losing record while defending a national title.
Well, and part of that optimism early was they thought Miles Brennan would be ready to take over at quarterback. They didn't know Jamar Chase was going to opt out, a great receiver coming back, and they became even more depleted than they were after the NFL draft.
And Miles Brennan had an excellent start to the year in the first 3 games. And then he was injured. They've had to play true freshman quarterbacks ever since. 3rd down and goal. Trask says, I'll do it myself this time. Touchdown, his first rushing touchdown of the season.
See, that's what I thought we would see in their first time down there. Very nice job, little power. They pulled the left guard, Richard George, and led the way in there for that big quarterback.
His mom enjoyed it, watching her son's final home game. He has a big brace on that left knee. Obviously, he's had issues with that over the years. Even seems to be limping a little bit as he comes to the sideline. They don't run him very much, and he's not a particularly fast runner. But he got into the end zone. And the extra point up and good for Evan McPherson.
Well, the key guys to keep an eye on are the 2 offensive guards on both sides of the formation. Watch. Reese is going to get a block here, and Garage is going to pull around and lead the way for the quarterback. Excellent work by the 2 guards. And Kyle Trask gets that big body going north and south, and an easy touchdown for the Gators.
Mom, Melissa Charba, has had a lot to cheer about. She waited a long time to watch her son play. Most of you know the story. He didn't start after his freshman year in high school. He went to the same high school, Manville in Texas, as De'Aaron King, the outstanding quarterback now with the Miami Hurricanes. Still was recruited. Florida saw him when they had some coaches go to his school to look at other players, and Doug Nussmeier, then on the Florida coaching staff, saw him throw. Invited Trask to come to a camp. He was about to accept a scholarship offer to an FCS program 1 level below this, but he decided he'd drive 14 hours
Twice,
over here
right?
to Gainesville to go to the camp and see if he could dazzle the Gator coaches. He wound up doing it twice, and after the second appearance over here, they said, yeah, we'll give you a scholarship. Then he waited a while to play here too. Here's a look back to high school. He is warming up alongside De'Aaron King. They remain good friends. They keep in touch. They've worked out together in the off seasons.
Yeah, it was really interesting talking to him yesterday because he said, you know, we have such a great program there. We had a lot of D1 players, and they have spring football in Texas, and so it was a spring practice. There were a lot of coaches that were there looking at other players, and they happened to see Kyle Trask and the way he could throw the football.
So again, starting from the 25, or this time starting from the 25, much better than the 1 last time for Max Johnson. He shows that running ability we talked about. Gets almost 10. Looks like they'll mark him just shy of the line to gain. We talked to Brad Johnson this afternoon. He said, I don't know where Max's running ability comes from.
It's definitely not Dad.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. That's his mom on the right of your picture. Nikki was a great volleyball player in college at South Florida. Max got close to the line. He probably gets the speed from mom. Keishawn Butte, the catch. She set the record in South Florida for kills and hits. I don't know nothing about volleyball, but I think those are good things.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
There's Ty Davis Price. Cross midfield to the 46-yard line as we check out tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, for LSU, it's their new center, Liam Shanahan, a transfer from Harvard. Brenton Cox on the other side actually started his career at the University of Georgia, one of their best dynamic pass rushers for the Gators.
Designed quarterback draw. Johnson turns the corner, has another first down, and goes out at the 32-yard line.
Well, we're definitely seeing what he brings. Now watch the left tackle. He's just going to take Brenton Cox right up the field, and that's what's going to open up the lane for Johnson on the design quarterback run. He's got the speed to get to the edge, and he's already given them a little spark with his legs.
Left tackle there, Rosenthal, thrown into a crowd there. Tayshaun Butte was already out of bounds when the ball arrived. Marco Wilson, the defender. Max Johnson was highly recruited, but the expectation was he would watch and sit behind Miles Brennan. You mentioned you have to feel bad for Miles Brennan.
Yeah.
Very highly recruited out of high school in Mississippi. Had to wait behind Joe Burrow. This was going to be his chance, and then he had an abdominal injury and was able to play in just 3 games. In the flat, Coy Moore made the catch, and then he got blasted by Kair Elam.
You know, we have not mentioned also in this LSU offense something that happened this week. One of their best players, Rick Gilbert, the tight end, who was their second leading receiver, decided to opt out early in the week. Jamar Chase opted out before the season began. Terrace Marshall after the Texas A&M game. So really down on their productivity.
Talking about 2 guys that will be first and second round draft picks.
Nice throw by Johnson, on target for a first down. And a nice drive here for LSU. They're all the way to the Florida 17-yard line.
Nice quick read because James Houston, the linebacker, was coming unblocked on an inside blitz. Max Johnson got rid of the ball very quickly with accuracy.
10-yard gain. Johnson's come off the bench to play in 4 of the last 5 games, including the last 2 against A&M and Alabama. Straight ahead, Ty Davis-Price. James Houston made the tackle, but that's 9 more for LSU.
Take a look at the right side of this offensive line. The only returning starter, Austin Deculus, the right tackle. But Davis-Price is a physical back at 232 pounds.
Deculus is the only returning starter on the entire offense from that title game last season. That offensive line doing an excellent job on this drive. Davis-Price gives them first and goal on the 2.
Little tempo now for LSU, trying to get lined up quickly.
Johnson kept it and got dumped back outside the 5 by Brenton Cox.
Yeah, really nice read by Brenton Cox. Look at him, number 1. He has them both covered. I mean, he's there to tackle the back. He sees the quarterback keep it, and you see that quick twitch ability that he brings to this Gator defense.
He is so sudden. He's, in my opinion, the best defensive player for the Gators.
Second and goal. Max Johnson throws back in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Jeray Jenkins.
This is beautiful touch by Brad Johnson over the safety or the nickelback Brad Stewart. Max Johnson does a beautiful job of just dropping this over the safety. Watch number 2 here is going to be in good position. But Max Johnson is just going to layer this ball over 2. That's beautiful.
That's not a true freshman playing in his first
I've been so impressed with his confidence too. I mean, he's yelling back at the coaches, "Let's go, tempo, let's go, let's go." He's in complete control right now.
75-yard drive engineered by Max Johnson. And the extra point good to tie it up by Cade York. Johnson, 5 out of 7 passing for 33 and a touchdown. He's run for 23. Don't forget, you can check out the Target Command Center broadcast of this game on ESPN3 and the ESPN app. Has all kinds of statistical information. You can still watch the game. What a drive engineered by Max Johnson. They went 11 plays for 75 yards, 6 runs, 5 passes.
Well, you know, we've talked about his athleticism, what he brings, but you know he's got a great football mind. Between his dad and his uncle, Mark Richt, knows the game.
His mom, Nikki, is Mark Richt's sister. Blake Davis, the fair catch. After we're finished here in Gainesville, it's Top Rank Boxing from Las Vegas. Undefeated rising star Shakur Stevenson puts his 14-0 record on the line as he faces 30-fight veteran Tauka Chan. Clary. They changed my telestrator before I was finished reading it, but I should have known them by heart. Then Sunday, December 20th, the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff matchups. The Rose Bowl and the All-State Sugar Bowl, the national semifinals on New Year's Day, as it should be. Completion to Kadarius Toney, and Jay Ward made the tackle.
I love standing behind quarterbacks and watching what they're seeing. With the offensive line, defensive linemen getting their hands up. And Trask is so good at finding a window and being able to get that ball out quickly.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of like a music conductor. I mean, he really knows where he wants to go with the ball. He understands. I think when we talked to him the other day, he said the biggest difference between him this year from last year is he has a better understanding of the why. You know, last year he was just doing his 111th, doing his job. But this year, he understands why plays are being called, why we want this against this coverage. And, I mean, the numbers bear it out. It's just been a spectacular season.
Only Dylan Gabriel of UCF has thrown for more yards per game than Kyle Trask, 360. And handed off in short yardage, and Kadarius Toney's driven back.
Tried a little trick play, little inside handoff, and really good at the point of attack. I think that's the transfer, Jabril Cox. Look at number 19 right here. He's been a really great find for LSU. He transferred out of North Dakota State, was a full-time starter out there, a very productive player, and he has been one of the real bright spots of this LSU defense. Great read that time, staying at home.
Bo Pelini thinks he's going to be an outstanding pro. Jay Ward back near the 10 to field the punt. And Jacob Finn. And nice coverage on the play. Trayvon Grimes made the tackle. Here's our drive recap brought to you by Downey Defy.
Yeah, it was good balance. It was 6 runs, 5 passes, or the other way around, I'm not sure, but it was good balance. Max Johnson showing the wheels, why they felt it was time to give him a chance, his mobility in and out of the pocket, and then the beautiful touch pass by the lefty on the touchdown.
Parents made the drive. Brad told me this afternoon it's about 5 hours. They actually enjoy the road games more because from their home in Georgia to Baton Rouge is about a 9-hour drive, and that's really longer than
Florida.
Most of the visiting team sites that they go to. They've been at every game this season.
We're not into flying?
Except at Vanderbilt because they weren't allowed to attend the game there due to some COVID restrictions on fans. Yes, Todd McShay?
I was just asking, what about flying?
Well, Brad Johnson said that he coaches on Friday night. He's still coaching at Max's old high school, Oconee County, because they have another son on the team, Jake, who's a terrific tight end. Of course, Max was in attendance at the Super Bowl when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won it with Brad Johnson at the helm for Coach John Gruden. There's Jake. They're still in the state playoffs. They have a state semifinal game coming up against Greater Atlanta Christian. And Jake is a top recruit, being recruited by both of these two schools playing head-to-head tonight. John Emery, the ball carrier for LSU, and he gets taken down by Trey Dean.
When we talked to Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator of Florida, he said one of the things over the last 6 games, they've been much better defending the run. LSU in that scoring possession had good success running the football, but Florida's defense has greatly improved the last 6 games.
Johnson sets. Emery again near the first down yards. Looks like they're going to give him a nice spot. And perhaps he has it across the 23-yard line. Jaden Hill to stop for Florida. And they do move the chains. I'm really impressed by the effort of this undermanned LSU team.
Absolutely.
Losing players left and right. It's been a really disappointing season. And yet they have come out here with a lot of fight tonight. 23-point underdogs. Another strike by Max Johnson to Trey Palmer in the run after the catch yields another first down.
Well, the key right now is the mobility of Johnson and the pass protection when he's in the pocket. This is a team in Florida that prides themselves on getting to the quarterback and affecting the quarterback. 29 sacks so far in the season.
It leads the Southeastern Conference. They do their 60 tackles for a loss. They drop Emory just about at the line of scrimmage that time.
Yeah, Ed Orgeron said, I was proud of the fight our team showed last week against Alabama. I mean, they got blown out. It was 21-0 before they even kind of turned around, but they never stopped fighting.
Johnson hit from the backside and the pass falls incomplete. It was Brenton Cox who's been a force here in the first quarter.
See, Deculus has a little bit of a problem with speed rushers, and that's what Brenton Cox is. Watch the spin move back inside, and the big tackle just doesn't have good enough footwork there to handle that kind of a rusher one-on-one.
Deculus says he likes that Johnson's left-handed because now he has the prestigious tackle spot where you protect the blind side, the backside, but he needs to do a better job of it. Here comes a blitz. Johnson saw it coming, got it off quickly to Jontre Kirkland. He got swung down by Khair Elam, well short of the first down.
What a great job by a freshman seeing the blitz and seeing one of the, I think the best player, Brenton Cox, #1 for Florida, coming off the edge and getting the ball out. I know they didn't pick up the first down, but what a great job by just recognizing things early in this game.
And it's a smart play because at least you can now flip the field with a good punt here.
It is a good punt by Von Rosenberg. And after signaling for a fair catch and trying to get out of the way, Kadarius Toney fielded it on a hop, so they blow the play dead at the 11-yard line. Ultra impressive, so poised. Max Johnson. TJ Finley, fellow true freshman, started the last 5 games.
And Finley did some good things. I mean, he had a couple really good games. The problem was he had a couple critical turnovers in tough situations, and I think that was kind of the reason they felt they needed to give Max Johnson a chance to be the starter.
In their win at Arkansas, Finley threw for 271, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. On target, Trask to Rick Wells. Jay Ward, the tackle, far sideline. That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. It's a 10-yard gain and a first down. More competitive than many might have expected. LSU came to play. They're tied with the Gators at 7 at the end of the first quarter here in Gainesville. Continued Dr. Pepper's championship drive game of the week. And an entertaining start to this one. Florida and LSU tied at 7. 1st and 10 Gators from their own 21 as the second quarter begins with a pass in the flat to Malik Davis, and he got upended by Dwight McLaughlin. The name we did not expect to say tonight. Playing out of necessity with more deletions to the roster at the defensive back spots.
I mean, again, now think about this. This is a defense that plays a lot of man coverage, and you're down your top 3 corners right now. It's an amazing play so far.
Big hole, Malik Davis right through the middle of that defense, and finally run down inside the LSU 40. Damone Clark saved the touchdown. They're going to spot it at the 38-yard line of the Tigers.
Watch the beautiful job by Stuart Reese getting up to the second level on the linebacker, and the safeties are slow to close. I mean, Jacoby Stevens was unblocked, number 7, but just very slow to get there to kind of close that gap. And the speed of Malik Davis made him pay.
He put it down to the 39. Trask was blitzed and hit as he throws it. It falls incomplete. It was Damone Clark who saved the touchdown on the last play. The linebacker running it down.
LSU not able to generate much pressure with their normal four-man rush. Decide to bring an extra rusher that time. Damone Clark with a nice hit on Kyle Trask.
Jabril Cox, you mentioned it earlier, Bo Pelini. You know, it's been a rough enough year, but imagine where they would be if they didn't have Jabril Cox transferring in as a grad transfer from North Dakota State. That's Malik Davis, and he got popped by Todd Harris. Jabril Cox was a part of 3 straight FCS national championship teams up there in that great North Dakota State program. Two-time All-American at that level. And you know, he's 6'3", 230, but he can play nickel.
I've got him as the 4th best linebacker in a really good linebacker class and number 34 overall. I mean, that's how talented he is. And he's playing his tail off this year.
Bo Pelini said he's very smart. Psychology graduate. Here's an interception by Eli Ricks, injured earlier, but back out there now. And he's going to go all the way for an LSU touchdown. Hot dogs a bit on the way in. And here's boos as a result, but LSU with a pick 6 to take the lead.
Well, and a little bit of a change-up defensively, a little bit of a zone look. Here's Eli Ricks right here. He's not going to be playing man-to-man. He's going to kind of drop and read the routes and then jump the second slant and times it perfectly. He's kind of the spy or kind of the guy in the middle of the defense, and he read it perfectly. Not really sure I like that at the end because last week the other number 1 almost lost a touchdown for a little hot doggery at the 1 yard line.
Butte dropped the ball before he's in the end zone, but the LSU still managed to score. The extra point is good. I think that's what Bo Pelini was saying to Ricks. That's not the kind of nonsense that they want, but it's a huge play. It's his 2nd pick 6 of the season. He had one for 45 yards against South Carolina. It's his 4th interception of his true freshman season out of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Went to IMG Academy down in Florida. And LSU has a 14-7 lead over the Gators.
And for Kyle Trask, only his 4th interception of the season against those 38 touchdowns. He got fooled on that one. I mean, he typically sees the coverage really well, but he got fooled on that one.
Here's the play you were talking about last week against Alabama. I mean, this happens often enough that you would think it would never happen again, right?
Yeah, shouldn't happen. Great play, but just, you know, really just kind of unnecessary at the end. And I think he's heard that from a lot of people. They love the play, love the read, the effort. But just finish the play right.
Now tied for the conference lead, Kelvin Joseph of Kentucky with 4 interceptions. He left the game early. If you joined us late, Derek Stingley, the preseason All-American corner, dressed, tried to warm up, but could not fight through a quad injury tonight. He has not played. They lost Cordell Flott, another defensive back, his corner in nickel, to a targeting ejection. Undermanned isn't even a strong enough word. What a valiant effort this is through the first quarter and 2 minutes into the second. And another touchback by the touchback machine, Avery Atkins. A lot of heat on Bo Pelini with the disappointing performance of that LSU defense. Signed a 3-year deal. You'd have a lot of guaranteed money coming to him if they decided to move on, and there's been plenty of speculation about that. But he's thrown into a really tough situation here. Ed Orgeron said before the season began he thought the defense would be better than it was last year. Liked the way the preseason went, liked Pelini's schemes. That's why he brought him there. So the head coach would have to take some of the blame for that if he thinks it hasn't worked out. He's brought Pelini in here. Deep throw by Trask, well over the head of his intended receiver, Trayvon Grimes. I mean, you know, when you hire Bo Pelini, what you're going to get. The kind of defense he's going to run, his personality.
And he was at LSU before, 2005 to 07, was very successful, part of some really great defensive football teams.
National championship team.
Before he went to become a head coach. And again, you know, this is a defense that the biggest problem for them has been giving up the big plays, the explosive plays. 11 pass completions over 50 yards they've given up. And it's just really crushed them.
Nifty move. Boy, Kadarius Toney refusing to go down and finally tackled from behind after he crossed midfield. Maurice Hampton made the tackle.
This kid plays so much bigger than he is because of will, determination, and strength. I mean, we see him as a slot receiver. He can put that foot in the ground and change directions in a heartbeat. But he's got great body strength.
Reminds me a little bit of Percy Harvin, just the offensive weapon.
Harvin played here at Florida. Handed off to Toney quite often. Trask is sacked way back in Gator territory near the 40-yard line. Jaquelin Roy, backup defensive tackle.
Yeah, here's Jaquelin Roy. He's just going to kind of slant to one side, but then beat the block of Reese, the guard, and have a clear path to the quarterback. And again, Kyle Trask, his strength is not to make plays with his feet, escape the pocket and extend plays. He can step up in the pocket, but when there's a rusher right in the middle, he's got some problems.
First career sack for the true freshman from right there in Baton Rouge, Jaquelin Roy.
Good spot for a screen here for Florida. They like screens on these long yardage situations.
2nd and 21, and whistle stopped the play.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain second down.
Well, Dan Mullen's team has much more to play for. I mean, they're trying to get into the college football playoff right now, number 6. But it's LSU that looks like the team that has more to play for tonight. Much more obvious effort from the Tigers.
Dan Mullen and Kyle Trask both said the same thing. We need to play clean football. They're not playing clean football right now.
Trask throwing deep, man behind the defense, and caught. Beautiful throw by Trask to hit Trayvon Grimes in stride with 2 defenders trying to catch up.
Well, he's working on McLaughlin, that new corner. He runs by him, and then the safety, Maurice Hampton, takes a bad angle to help his quarterback. And a beautiful deep ball down the field by Kyle Trask. We just talked about the deep passes this LSU defense has given up this year consistently. There's another killer right there.
50-yard play. Trask on 1st and 10. Throws to the sideline, batted around. Is that an interception in bounds? At least for the moment it appears it is for Jay Ward.
The question is, the defender for LSU that deflected it, was he inbounds or out of bounds when he hit the football? The ball, I think, was caught in bounds, but was it deflected by a player who was out of bounds?
That was Dwight McLaughlin who deflected it. Officials haven't made any call yet.
The ruling on the field is an interception by the defense.
And I think that's going to be overturned. It did appear on that first look at it on replay that McLaughlin was out of bounds when the ball hit him.
Jay Ward is the guy who caught the football. And he was trying to keep his knees in play, but Matt, what'd you see on that?
First thing is the defender is allowed to go out of bounds and come back in. Plus the ball's already been touched, so the fact that he's out is not a factor. If he can get himself back in and declare as he's in bounds, then this is an interception.
But when he touches the ball and he's standing out of bounds.
See, I think it went, well, he was jumping maybe when the ball, I think it hit the receiver, then it hit the defender and was, wow. Wow.
As much as it looks like that can't possibly be in bounds for all 3 people involved here, it might just be.
I think McLaughlin might have been in midair when he hit it, and I think Ward's knees were inbounds when he caught it.
Well, Matt, to me, that's the only question. 'Cause I think
It hit
Tony,
him in
the
the head.
receiver, was in bounds, but he touched it.
It hit McLaughlin in the helmet.
But does he have a foot on the ground when it hits him?
Ooh.
Well, when it hits him in the head,
Jeez.
I think his foot is still just barely off the ground. And the call
It looked
on
from
the
that view like
field
his
He's
foot
was-
was
not out of bounds yet.
What do you think, Matt, since you're our rules expert and we're just a bunch of wannabes when it comes to officiating? Well, you know this is a tough one because Matt is unusually silent and maskless in his house.
I
and
think
we're
his
envious
foot was
of that.
still up when it hit him in the head.
I agree. It's extremely close, but I don't think it's hit yet. It's bounced
There
away.
it is. It hits
then
him
his foot
there
hits.
in the helmet, and his left foot is off the
His
ground.
left foot's still in
Now,
the air.
Yeah, and it's still in the air. That's the right call on the field. I think this play is going to stand. Great look at it.
I
Our
agree.
producer is Josh Hoffman. Our director, Scott Johnson. Our tremendous crew.
What a crazy play.
Yeah, I think the last replay we saw, it's hitting him in the helmet, and it ricochets off his helmet, and his foot was still. Now, are those heels on the sideline when Kadarius Toney touches it from the Progressive Pylon camera view? We're well ahead of our usual Progressive Pylon tape mentions here.
The pace. The PPP. Progressive Pylon pace.
All right, Matt, we're going to make. You've seen a lot of looks at it now, and these replays are supposed to take 2 minutes or less. Give us your best opportunity at it.
Well, I agree. The Florida receiver looked like he was still in bounds when he touched the ball. When the ball hit the LSU defender in the helmet, I think his foot was still in bounds, was still in the air. And I think when the LSU player on the ground touched the ball, I think his knee was actually on the green.
Jeez. What a play.
Doesn't
And what a
seem
play
possible.
by Ward to get his knees back.
Didn't seem possible. All three
After
could be in
review,
bounds.
The ruling on the field stands. First down, LSU.
I think they got it right. That was a crazy play. But again, incredible effort by Ward to keep his knees in bound off the double deflection. Man.
Well, Trask had thrown 3 interceptions all season long. He's thrown 2 tonight, including the pick 6 by Ricks. Now Jay Ward, the sophomore, with his first interception of the season. LSU leading by 7 on 1st and 10. Max Johnson not on the same page with Keyshawn Butte. Given everything that goes into this for LSU, this is one of the most impressive performances by a unit that I've seen this season, and it's the LSU defense.
Yep.
Which really was showing signs, Todd, of improvement in the 2 games prior to last week. I mean, Alabama hammered them, 155-17, but the previous 2 games they held A&M to 20 and Arkansas to 24. Chris Curry in at running back now. He takes the handoff from Max Johnson.
They played really well against A&M. I mean, I studied that game pretty good because we had A&M the week after that. I mean, they forced punts on 12 of 16 possessions for the Aggies. Kellen Mond did not have a good game. They were 2 of 16 on 3rd downs. That was by far their best defensive performance. And as you mentioned, Alabama, that's a different animal altogether.
Oh, Pelini congratulating his defenders on their terrific work to this point. Long way to go here in the Swamp. Still 9:45 to go in the first half. On 3rd and 7, Max Johnson incomplete. Trying to hit the slant to Jontre Kirkland.
Pretty safe throw in that part of the field. You got to be careful with the football. Not sure Kirkland gave as good of an effort to catch that football as he could have.
It's brutal, too. You know, Jamar Chase is a first-round wide receiver. He might be the first wide receiver taken, and he opted out. Terrace Marshall, we talked about, opted out as well. He's going to be a day 2 pick. So you're talking about 2 guys that could go in the first 3 rounds that are not available.
And probably would have made that play. Von Rosenberg, long punt. Nice return by Kadarius Toney. Crowd thought he was face masked down to the ground. There is no flag. But it'll be very good field position for the Gators. They'll start at the LSU 49. Here's a look again at the wild interception. 14-7 Tigers. Back in the swamp. 6th-ranked Florida, 23-point favorite, trailing LSU 14-7 with 9:26 to go in the first half. Gators take over at the LSU 49. They try to set up a screen, and it is dropped for a loss. Damone Clark buried Malik Davis back at the Gators 46. That's a loss of 5.
Well, another aggressive play by this LSU defense. And Sean, I really think that Florida has an opportunity to run the football. Now they're behind the chains on this second down play, so we might not see it. But they've already run for 100 yards, and they only were averaging 126 coming into the game. LSU's giving up the run to play coverage.
4-man rush. Trask pressured from behind, got it away for a completion to Malik Davis. They got the sack yardage back +1. It'll be third down and 9. Andre Anthony put the pressure on Trask.
Pretty good rush from the outside, Anthony. And Kyle Trask can feel that presence. So far, it's been kind of an uncharacteristic slow start for Kyle Trask. Not as sharp, obviously, with the 2 interceptions. And they've gotten to him a little bit. And he misses that guy, I
Sure
think.
does. I wonder if he might want to get dressed at the half. Kyle Pitts, outstanding tight end. There's Trayvon Grimes, wide open. If you joined us late, Pitts, who played in the last 2 games, came out and warmed up. We visited him with yesterday. No mention from him or any of the coaches that there was an injury that might possibly keep him out tonight.
And Sean, he's frustrated. He keeps going over to one of the trainers on the sideline saying, I can play. He is really frustrated.
And you wonder, Todd, as we discussed earlier, is this, they just want to keep him fresh for Alabama in the SEC title game next week, thinking they could beat LSU without him. And the whole team is playing like they think they can beat LSU without playing their best. Quick strike to Jacob Copeland, and a first down inside the 20.
Back-to-back beautiful throws by Kyle Trask. Accurate, on time, first on the deep comeback with a little half roll to the left, and that time off the play action. Kyle Trask trying to get back into rhythm here. 13 for 21 now in the ball game.
The 2 interceptions, the most he's thrown in a game. Last time he threw 2 was back in 2019. He's on target again to Kadarius Toney. That was November of last year against Vanderbilt. The last time he threw 2 picks in a ball game.
Well, this play was read by Jay Ward. Watch number 5. He reads it and tries to go for the ball. He's just late. Kyle Trask put it high enough that Ward couldn't make a play, and Toney, with the sure hands on the sideline, brings it in.
Having a great senior season out of Mobile, Alabama. Kadarius Toney. Trask running out of time and throws it away. He was pursued again by Andre Anthony, senior defensive end from New Orleans.
Excellent coverage that time. They rushed 4, they dropped 7 into coverage. And again, not trying to repeat the same theme, but this is the part of the field where Kyle Pitts creates the most problems because of his matchup ability as an inside or outside guy.
And even if it's not him, he's getting 2 guys on him, and he's opening everybody else up.
On 2nd and goal. Trask pulled it down a couple of times, and his pass is off the hands of Keon Zipperer, one of the other tight ends. The coach Dan Mullen said our other 2 tight ends, Zipperer and Gamble, are legit, but Pitts might be the best player in the entire country.
Now again, good coverage. Jacoby Stevens was in a good position. Kyle Trask had to throw that ball high, and it was too high for Zipperer.
Pitts texting
everybody.
To people who want to know, why aren't you playing? It didn't sound like it was his decision from what you were able to ascertain, Todd McShay.
LSU.
Well, LSU's had 1 goal line stand tonight. Can they do it again? They're up 14-7, 6.5 to go in the half.
ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5. is brought to you by the Lincoln Wish List Sales Event.
Always an emotional night, senior night. 27 Gators honored before the game. Of course, these players weren't recruited by Dan Mullen, recruited by the previous staff, Jim McElwain. But they've helped Dan Mullen take this program back to its place among the elite in college football, ranked number 6 in the country. But off to a sluggish start tonight as a 23-point favorite against an LSU team that was ready to play from the outset. 3rd down and goal from the 5.
If I'm LSU, I'm doubling Tony here. I'm trying to get 2 defenders around him in the slot.
No Kyle Pitts. Bo Pelini blitzes, trash, throws it away out of the back of the end zone.
Well, again, it's the quick rush by Jabril Cox. I mean, his quickness and getting to the quarterback, and the only thing that can happen is throw this ball away. He's showing like he's going into coverage, but watch the speed and the burst to get to the quarterback, and Kyle Trask just has to throw it away.
And to your point, to Todd McShay's point, when you have Pitts, even if you can't get him the ball in those situations, he's going to get so much attention from the defense. There's going to be more room for somebody else. Evan McPherson came in that goal line situation in the first half, was going to kick a short field goal, but after a penalty made it even a shorter yard to make. They went for the touchdown and didn't get it. Well, this field goal's good from 23 yards. 6:25 to go in the half. Still LSU on top. Now 14-10. During these challenging times, ESPN and the V-Week Foundation fight against cancer is not stopped. If you're able, please support cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. Evan McPherson to kick it away. Josh Williams back deepest for LSU. LSU leading 14-10 here in Gainesville. On a beautiful December night with the temperature in the low 60s. It's a touchback. Here's Matt Berry. USC in the title game because Colorado suffered its first loss of the season earlier today at home against Utah. Snowy Boulder. Washington will play in the title game out of the North. Their game against Oregon wiped out because of COVID. On 1st down, the freshman Max Johnson making his first career start. Tripped up after he got 2.5. James Houston, backup linebacker out of Fort Lauderdale, made the play for Todd Grantham's defense.
He avoided the first pressure to avoid the sack and got some positive yardage. And this is where Max Johnson has to be really smart. Right now, this LSU team has done everything right to position themselves so much better than a week ago. Last week, they went to the locker room down 45-14 to Alabama.
Monte Smith at 200 yards receiving in the first half. Nice play by Marco Wilson to break up the pass intended for Jaray Jenkins.
Marco Wilson, probably the most experienced guy on this Florida defense, a 3-year starter. This is his 34th start, and he's a confident coverage guy. Big play, very smart here now for Max Johnson on 3rd and 8. Florida will come up with some kind of pressure.
They bring 5. Johnson spun around, cannot escape. Avoided a loss, but Zachary Carter got him on the grass just shy of the 29 after James Houston couldn't do it.
Well, it starts here, and then the linebacker is going to be the second guy, and Max Johnson does everything that he can to avoid it. The unblocked defender was Houston. But good pressure defense by the Gators, getting to the quarterback and forcing the punt.
Ivan Rosenberg. I mentioned he's 30 years old, but because everybody with this COVID season will have another year of eligibility, he's talking about coming back next year at age 31.
Why not? best years of your life, right?
Tomorrow on Sunday, NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern, before the Steelers and Bills square off. One-on-one with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, the Buffalo Bills. Randy Moss ranks the best catches from this week's college football action. And then Monday Night Football, the Ravens and the Browns.
That's right, baby. The Browns, the Brownies. I'm a big Ohio guy.
Yeah, here you go. On the bandwagon. First thing you said about
well.
the Browns in the 3 years we've been back working together. They've won 4 straight. They've clinched a winning season.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are the real deal.
Yes, they are. First time winning year since 2007. Kyle Trask to Jacob Copeland, wrestled down by Darren Evans, another backup defensive back, forced to play tonight.
Well, it's press coverage, but you see Copeland just fighting through the pressure, gets a little separation, and Trask is on time and accurate with the football.
Perhaps a little push off there.
A little bit.
On they go. Up to 198 yards in the half for Trask. Corner blitz. Trask, the wheel route, beautiful catch, and then dropped by Pierce. Looked like he had it on the run, but juggled it, and then it fell to the ground.
They do this.
The coverage.
Yeah, they do this a lot. I mean, they throw to their backs. They really killed Georgia on these wheel routes with all 3 of their backs. And credit Damone Clark for staying with it. I mean, he's beat. He stays with it, kind of keeps his hands fighting in there, and Pierce not able to come down with the catch.
Four and a half to go in the half. 2nd and 10. It's a draw. Damian Pierce to the 43-yard line. Jay Ward and Jacoby Stevens there for the Tiger defense.
Florida has most really good teams when they're having a great season. They've been very effective in the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. They played some of their best football in those critical situations.
Dan Mullen talks a lot about situational football. They work on it regularly. Trask on target. They convert on 3rd and 5. Tony wants much more. Boy, is he a hard guy to get down. Tremendous balance. And he's down just shy of the 20. 1st and 10, Florida.
It's balance, it's quickness in and out of breaks. Here he comes out of the backfield. Watch him after the catch. And then it's strength. Again, he's listed as 6 foot, 193 pounds, but he plays and he runs with much more physicality.
And the way they use him, too. I mean, you can split him out wide. You can put him in the slot. You can put him in the backfield, reverses. He is so versatile. I think outside of Kyle Pitts, who we talked about at tight end, he is the most dynamic player on the field tonight.
Jay Ward down on the field. Another injured defensive back for LSU.
Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack. Delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Only at Taco Bell.
So take a look at Jay Ward, the injured player. I can tell you that Kyle Trask, with his performance tonight, he's thrown for 220 yards in a half, has moved past Rex Grossman and into 3rd place in single season passing yardage in Florida history. Only Rex Grossman and Danny Werfel have thrown for more in a season, and Trask 34-63. Well, now it's no longer waiting for Jay Ward. It's a targeting review.
There is no foul for targeting by number 72 of the offense. The play stands on the field. It's called.
Stone Forsythe is the left tackle. Is the end of the play. He does.
Why isn't?
I mean, that's crown of the helmet right into the headgear of Jabril Cox.
Matt Austin, what say you?
This one is really, really close, obviously. I'm not sure there's an attack there. It looks like he had his hand on the LSU player that went into the pile. Looks like that might have swung him down. He did lower his head a little bit, so I understand your concern, but I don't think the intent was there.
So he just happened to randomly throw his head into the other guy's head. Emory Jones is in at running back. They generally have him run the ball. They have packages for him, obviously. That's why he's out there. Jabril Cox.
Boy, he's all over the field.
I just want to go back to the previous play. What was Forsythe's intent? I mean, the play's coming to an end. He can see the tackle being made right in front of him. He picks off somebody else by firing his head into the helmet of the other guy. Isn't that what they're trying to get rid of? I mean, even if it doesn't, can it be a personal foul, Matt, even if it isn't targeting?
Well, that's what I thought they should have called in the first place, because he kind of picked him off the pile. So I was kind of surprised there was not a flag in the first place. But again, you have to have forcible contact to the head neck area with the crown of the helmet.
Damian Pierce looked like he was going to have a touchdown. The pass is incomplete.
Nice
There's
job.
a flag on the play.
Jacoby Stevens was in coverage, is able to knock the football away. Pierce had a step on him.
Going to be an eligible man downfield against Florida.
Well, Sean, you mentioned it. We can't say enough about how this LSU defense has played in the first half. I mean, I don't know if they can hold up for another 30 minutes, but this first 30 minutes, they have been outstanding.
And I know Bo Pelini's become the whipping boy in Baton Rouge, but there are so many problems.
Downfield. Offense, number 72. That penalty is declined. Third down.
And I think we're seeing tonight that this is a very well prepared and well coached defense. He's called some timely blitzes. They clearly came to play. The guy's got a resume a mile long. That's why they brought him here. As Ed Ogeron said, about himself, well, we didn't just forget how to coach in 1 year. I think the same would apply to Bo Pelini. Four-man rush. Trask steps up, has a man, touchdown. Jacob Copeland, who took advantage of the freshman McLaughlin in there because Derek Stingley couldn't go tonight. But those who want to bash Bo Pelini, right? That'll be his fault. They have a guy out there who really wasn't expected to play much at all tonight.
McLaughlin took a look back at the quarterback, and then he got twisted around. And when he turned back around the other way, the ball was a little bit underthrown, and Copeland made a nice adjustment to the football. He was in pretty good position, but his eyes got him mixed up when he turned his head.
So the Gators take the lead on the third touchdown catch of the year for the sophomore from Pensacola. Copeland, McPherson the extra point. 2:25 to go in the half. Florida by 3. Here's Matt Barry in the studio. Jacob Copeland, the touchdown catch. And with 2:25 to go in the half, Florida, and with its 13th straight home game, leads by 3. The 12 wins in a row here, their longest since they won 13 straight on Florida Field back in 2008 to 2010. Of course, now it's Steve Spurrier Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. That's a lot, and affectionately known as the Swamp. And the old ball coach is here in attendance tonight.
He's loving what he's been seeing out of the Gators this football season. Dan Mullen has brought the fun and gun back to Gainesville.
They formed a nice friendship. In fact, Spurrier brought Coach Mullen a nice bottle of wine when they clinched the trip to Atlanta for the SEC championship game.
Now Spurrier's got to love what he sees from Kyle Trask. Watch Kyle Trask's eyes looking this way, and he is going to just hold this safety in the middle of the field. Once he sees the safety hold, he knows he has single coverage outside. He comes back and works against the new corner. He finds the matchups, he uses his eyes, and he makes the quick decision.
Trying to become the 4th Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from Florida, including Steve Spurrier, with Danny Werfel and Tim Tebow. Max Johnson, after a nice start, they've started to slow him down in recent possession. There's a picture of Coach Spurrier visiting with Coach Mullen. You're more of a wine person than I am. Is that a nice Pinot Grigio? I would assume it is. Coach Spurrier made a lot of money in this.
I would guess that it is. I don't know that for a fact, but I would guess that it is.
Another nice looking pass by Johnson. He clearly feels comfortable throwing those quick slants. Keyshawn Butte, the receiver. Trey Dean and Donovan Steiner took him down. LSU has 2 timeouts. They have a field goal kicker who's very adept from 50 plus. John Emery, a short gain. He ran into Ventrell Miller.
Something that Steve Ensminger and this offensive staff's got to figure out at halftime. They got to figure out some way to get some kind of chunk plays out of their passing game, play action passing game for Max Johnson. Right now, all the completions are very short.
You wonder, ooh, dangerous throw and almost intercepted. Kyer Elam trying to steal the call. He isn't going to get it.
And see, that's what happens when you don't challenge a team down the field. The corners are going to squat on that. They're going to read that. They don't feel threatened down the field. And Elam almost comes up with an interception right there.
Time for a little pump fake or
something.
A double move or something. Yeah, you just wonder if they have anybody with the opt-outs by Chase and Marshall among the wide receiving core who could stretch them deep. Johnson given a nice pocket on target for a first down to Keyshawn Butte to the 45-yard line of Florida.
Again, this is the best pass rushing team in the SEC, and this is excellent protection, and Butte able to make the catch on the in route.
Cade York, the kicker, is 8 out of 10 in his career from 50 plus. They're getting at a minimum close to his range as Johnson scurried down close to the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him out at the 42.
How about Max Johnson hanging in the pocket and making that last throw? I mean, you're talking about a true freshman against this pass rush and showing absolutely no fear.
With dad Brad, mom Nikki in attendance, brother Jake here as well. Here comes a blitz. Well picked up. Max throws. Nice catch. Coy Moore for about a 9-yard gain. Now it looks like Ed Ogeron will use his second timeout, leaving him with 1 with 53 seconds to go.
You know, you mentioned the opt-outs, and Jamar Chase made his decision before the season. He's going to be a very high NFL draft pick. The one that surprised me, I think it surprised Ed Orgeron and everybody at LSU, was Terrace Marshall. I mean, he was playing, and he was playing exceptionally well. I mean, he had a great start to the season. I mean, and then he had, 11 catches, 253 yards, 3 touchdowns at Missouri. The last game he played in the game against Texas A&M, he had 10 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown, and then he made the decision to opt out.
And in a team meeting, he gave a pep talk about holding together and giving good effort.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, he was gone. I think we are officially socially distanced.
Yeah.
That is you over there, is it not?
Is.
Let me get my binoculars out. Looks like the Penn State Nittany Lion over there. 3rd down and 1. 54 seconds to the half. They're showing as if they might blitz again. Liam Shanahan, the center, looked up and saw that. As Todd mentioned, he's the transfer from Harvard. This looks like a quarterback sneak now. And it is for a first down. And Ed Ogeron said you'd expect a Harvard man to be smart.
Yeah.
He graduated from Harvard with a 3.6 in economics. And Ed was raving about what a great job Shanahan does reading the fronts, setting the protections.
No SEC school does a better job of recruiting Massachusetts.
Max Johnson, man wide open. It's a touchdown for Keyshawn Butte.
Well, this is the break they needed. The throw down the field. Butte is wide open. He's just running a go route. And they get the big throw down the field. A little mix-up by this Florida defense helped it, but they'll take it.
And this crowd stunned again. As Cade York's going to try to make it a 4-point advantage for the Tigers with 33 seconds to go in the half. And he does.
Florida is going to come with a cat blitz, a corner blitz. So when that happens, somebody from inside has to go out on that receiver. And they are late getting out to Butte. And Max Johnson sees it. He knows the blitz is coming, and nobody picks up the outside receiver. And it's an easy throw for the touchdown. And LSU back in front. What a great job at the end of the half, making plays, using their timeouts, and then beating the blitz.
And how about the confidence that they showed in a true freshman with just over 2 minutes to go? A lot of teams might have just, run it out. We're hanging in there. Let's get them in the second half. That was not the case.
Well, he has definitely given them a spark. I mean, from the very first possession, running, moving around in the pocket, throwing with confidence and accuracy, his poise, and now his second touchdown pass of the ball game. And you know what? When you're playing with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, Sean, that aren't as worried about their NFL draft status and those kind of things, those guys maybe are a little easier to coach up at times, on both sides of the ball. We're seeing young guys playing with great effort and intention and intensity tonight for LSU.
Well, Ed Ogeron said it helps Max Johnson. He won't be in the swamp with 100,000 people chomping and stomping. But as poised as he's been tonight, it certainly would have been harder if they had the usual environment here. It doesn't look like much rattles him.
No. When this team played against Alabama last week, 55 guys played for LSU. 33 of them were freshmen or sophomores. I'm sure the numbers are similar tonight with less guys here. They only came with 54.
And that's why Coach O says, he's been asked a lot lately, was the 15-0 the perfect season last year? Was that an aberration? Was that a year when everything came together? And he said, no, this is going to be the aberration. He said, we have the foundation of a return to championship form in place, and they're going to continue to recruit well. They're reported to be having one of the best recruiting classes being formed in the country right now. Trask on target. That's a big play on first down. So they have more 20-plus yard plays than any team in the country except Arkansas State. That one went for 17 yards, but Evan McPherson has a big leg, and at the very least they can get him to field goal range with another completion.
That could be a fumble.
The ball. That is a live ball, and it is scooped up by LSU's B.J. Ojulari. Now it pops out and rolls out of bounds. Ray Thornton knocked it loose, and B.J. Ojulari recovered.
Well, the first thing to determine was Kyle Trask's arm coming forward or not?
I didn't think so.
Or was it a fumble? It looked like a fumble in live action.
The ruling on the field is that the passer fumbled the ball, recovered by the defense. The defensive player fumbled the ball forward, out of bounds. The ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. First down, LSU.
Now, if you're LSU, you just line up and kick the field goal right here. Right. You don't mess around with it.
Well, let's make sure this wasn't a forward pad.
Oh, yeah, it was knocked out. Yeah, it was knocked out on the pressure by Ray Thornton, the linebacker who blitzed, knocked the ball out with his right hand, and Ojulari was able to come up with the football.
That's another young player, Ojulari. Thornton's a senior. Well, he's getting more time tonight. We mentioned all the depletions to the roster. Micah Baskerville.
He was down before he fumbled. I mean, that's got to move back to right where he was down.
Well, they said because it went forward in the announcement, they were going to bring it back there anyway. It went forward.
Yeah, it'll be the same spot.
So they're going to move it to the same spot.
Nice little inside blitz that time by Ray Thornton working with Ali Gay, the defensive end. They get to Trask. They've harassed and gotten to Kyle Trask and affected him. He's thrown 2 interceptions and now a fumble on the pressure.
And to Sean's point, Bo Pelini is getting murdered in Baton Rouge for what's gone on this year with all of the players that are gone from a year ago. But the last few weeks, this defense has shown great improvement, and he has a tremendous game plan coming into tonight.
They bring him in to bring in a new system. It's quite a bit different than what Dave Aranda was doing, and Ed Ogeron said, I like this. I like this change. No disrespect to Dave Aranda. no spring practice, disjointed summer practice, opt-outs all over the place. They're so low on bodies in practice. He said they have kickers running.
The recovering team player was down prior to fumbling the ball forward out of bounds. The ball will be brought back to the 19-yard line. Game clock operator, please put 10 seconds on the game clock.
I thought was what they were going to do anyway. But anyway, they have coaches out there running around in practice, trying to give the offense or defense a look. So
why is the offense coming on the field? Oh, they put time back on the clock too. I see.
10 seconds.
It was 5 when we went to it. Okay, 10 seconds. Yep.
We got one shot and then you kick.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to get any closer really for the field goal attempt. So you take a shot maybe at the end zone, but Florida looks like they're playing a safe coverage. Not going to give that up. You see these deep defenders here. They're not going to allow something to get over their head.
And now a timeout called by Florida.
Third and final charge timeout of the half.
And you don't have to throw it to the end zone if you're LSU here.
No, you
because
don't.
with the timeout,
yep.
If you throw something in play and hope for some run after the catch, you have the timeout. Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator. Of course, last year Joe Brady was his sidekick, did a tremendous job. And he left to go to Carolina Panthers as their offensive coordinator, Matt Rule. So they brought in Scott Linehan, longtime NFL coach, most recently offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. And Steve Ensminger told us yesterday it's kind of worked like it did last year with Joe Brady. They sit next to each other in the booth.
Yep.
Scott Linehan handles a lot of the third down calls.
Well, the guy that Max Johnson has targeted the most tonight has been Boutte right there. He's been targeted 7 times with 4 catches. And he's got a big cushion out here to just throw a little quick route. Now just going to the middle of the field.
Use the just want to get Cade York a straight shot. And now they use that final timeout. Well, here comes York.
Charge timeout of the half. LSU.
Was their starting kicker a year ago on the national championship team. Now as a sophomore, 11 out of 14 this season. And he can make them from long range. 4 of those 11 makes are from 50 plus. He's 4 out of 5 from 50. So the distance not an issue here. Zach Von Rosenberg is the holder. He's the punter. Also one time a quarterback. Quentin Skinner the snapper. They do their job well, and that one could not be more right down the middle with a little baby draw. And we're at halftime. Pats on the back on the LSU sideline, and understandably so. They've been outgained by 150, but it's that LSU defense on its heels most of the year, and without Derek Stingley tonight. It's had 3 takeaways.
Yeah, the yardage not nearly as important as the points, and those takeaways that has disrupted this Florida offense.
We're waiting for Todd McShay to get in position. Catch a quick word with the coach before we send you to the Nissan halftime report. And Todd's ready to go. He's with Dan Mullen.
Hey, Sean, Coach, talking about what's going on.
That thing just blew up on me.
Okay, what's going on offensively? How are you struggling in terms of protecting the quarterback?
Well, I mean, we're fumbling the ball. We're throwing interception. I don't know, protection. I mean, you got to score. You get down in the red zone. How many yards do we have?
A lot.
Okay.
340.
340.
That's pretty good, I think. Yeah. But we got to put points on. We're not executing in the red zone at all.
And then Kyle Pitts, not having him, how big of a difference, especially in the red zone, has that been tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's other guys here to make plays. We got to make better reads, quarterback position. We're missing read after read after read after read, and making those mistakes. So we got to get that cleaned up and play much better in the second half.
There's no chance that we see Pitts in the second half?
No.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
At halftime, LSU, more than a 3-touchdown underdog, leads by 7. It's 24-17 as we send you to the studio. Here's Matt Berry with Joey Galloway and Jesse Palmer.
Back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
And welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by PlayStation 5. This is the SEC on ESPN. Florida's already clinched the East spot in the championship game next week against Alabama. Perhaps looking ahead, 23-point home favorite tonight, trailing LSU by 7 as we head to the second half. A rough first half for Kyle Trask. He committed 3 turnovers, his most of the season. The 3 turnovers in the half, the most that Florida has had in a game this season.
It was funny, I saw Steve Spurrier out in the hallway, and he said, you know, this is going to be good for us. Let's see what we made of, see if we can come back, being behind a little bit. Nothing going well for us in the first half. This will be good.
That's a pretty good invitation.
Thank you.
Evan McPherson, the kickoff. That'll be a touchback. So, pretty impressive performance by LSU. I mean, coming in here with just about everything possible, it seemed going wrong.
Well, Max Johnson was good, right? I mean, he was really good, played with poise, made a lot of plays. But the LSU defense, to me, was the story. Even though they gave up 346 yards, they had 3 turnovers, they had 2 sacks, and they were excellent in the red zone. I mean, Florida was in the red zone 5 times and only scored 2 touchdowns. So I don't know if they can sustain that for another 30 minutes, but that first 30 minutes were beautiful.
Ty Davis-Price opens as the running back. And he gets the handoff, trying to get around left end. He gets yanked down by Brenton Cox. Here's the first half stats brought to you by PlayStation 5. Statistically dominated by Florida, except for the most important number of that half, the 3 turnovers to 0 committed by LSU.
Again, they forced turnovers and they played good in the red zone.
Davis-Price the other way, tough run, and he yields a first down.
Coach Mullen was frustrated when I asked him about the offense. He said, how many yards? 340. You only have 17 points with 340 yards in the first half. That's very unusual.
Well, again, you wonder about the mindset. We'll speculate again. Did they decide to just rest Kyle Pitts, who's a little banged up apparently, with an eye toward saving him for Alabama? He clearly wanted to play. He warmed up. We talked to him yesterday. There was no talk that he wouldn't play tonight. Short pass incomplete. And I think about our conversation with Dan Mullen yesterday as well. I said, well, obviously, your situation's pretty clear. You need to beat LSU. And then if you beat Alabama, you're going to be in the college football playoff. You'll be a 1-loss SEC champion with a win over Alabama. He said, well, I think even if we lose tomorrow night, if we're the SEC champ with a win over Alabama, we're going to get in. He said, as a 2-loss team? And he said, yeah, we'll be the SEC champ.
That's never happened. No. I know it's a weird year, right? But it's never happened.
And then we said, and with Texas A&M sitting there with 1 loss, and they beat you head-to-head? He said, well, I think being the SEC champ would trump that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, you kind of looked at him sideways, and I kind of agreed with you. I mean, I think they, and I thought Todd Grantham's answer was even better. We want the arrow continuing to point up for our team so that we can play our best next week.
How about Max Johnson in this offense? They go with up-tempo. They line up quickly on 3rd and short and get the first down. Ty Davis-Price, steady diet of Davis-Price on this opening possession of the second half.
We talked about the plan of Bo Pelini for the defense. Pretty nice plan by Steve Ensminger with his new starting quarterback, Max Johnson, as well. Playing to his strength.
3rd different starting quarterback of this season for LSU. Nice play fake with nobody open, and Johnson looked like he was trying to dive down, didn't get down fast enough, and he took a hit from Brad Stewart, the senior safety for Florida from New Orleans.
Well, he's got to have a receiver move with him on that scramble. Butte was running an inside route. When he looked back and saw his quarterback, he's got to adjust and go with him. Johnson had nowhere to throw the ball.
Johnson hit as he throws, but has his man. It's Jeray Jenkins weaving through the defense, and at least in the field goal range now. They're at the 31-yard line of Florida.
Boy, really big cushion by Marco Wilson. Watch the hit. Hangs in there, makes the throw under duress. And Marco Wilson with a big cushion for the catch.
Boy, late subs for Florida. Men running on the field. There is a flag down. They stop the play. And this is going to be against the Gators on their heels to start the half.
Offside. Defense number 9 in the offensive backfield before the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Dan Mullen talks about clean football. You know, this is not a clean way to come out of the locker room. There's 2 guys running on late. One of them did not get on the Florida side of the ball, and that's why the penalty was thrown. And they're running on late again. I mean, this is not what Dan Mullen envisioned, I think, coming out to start the third quarter.
Yeah. It really hasn't looked like a fully focused team from the start. John Emery trying to run around the corner. He gets shoved out of bounds. Travis Johnson there.
Emery a little slow getting up. Grabbing his hand or his wrist at the end of that play.
Well, that's borderline, it seems.
Ball at the 26, 2nd and 5.
And Emery hurt on the play. Play action pass. Johnson has some running room. He won't make the yardage. He gets thrown down by Mahmoud Diabate, the sophomore linebacker from Auburn, Alabama.
But a good decision to bring up a very manageable third down situation. Third and short again.
We're going quickly again against the Gator defense that really isn't ready to go. And Johnson has another first down.
Running right behind that center, Liam Shanahan. That's twice on this drive. They go third and short. They go quick. They go quarterback sneak, and they convert.
Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator for Florida. An impressive drive to open the half for LSU. Davis Price slicing through for about 8 more. Chopped down by Travis Johnson, the true freshman safety from Jacksonville.
Gain of 7 to the 13. 2nd and
Emery
3.
still in pain. They really only have the 2 running backs, Davis Price and Emery. Well, it looked awkward, but it was effective for LSU as it looked like Johnson got the first down near the 10-yard line.
I think this was just a heads-up play by Max Johnson. I think it was supposed to be a give to Davis Price. I don't think it was a read, but there was pressure in the backfield, and Johnson just made the decision to keep it himself, and it was a good decision.
Just the 9th true freshman to start a game at quarterback for LSU since World War II, but the 2nd this year. TJ Finley, the other. They go quarterback sneak again, and he gets some help as Johnson from Chris Curry, the running back. It'll be 1st and goal, Tigers.
Yeah, he didn't have it initially, but that push from Chris Curry, the big back, got him the first down.
That's 5 straight third down conversions for LSU. Florida trailing at the half for the first time this season. And looking at the distinct possibility of going down by 2 scores here. They come after Johnson. Beautiful move to sidestep Cox. Receiver down on the ground, no flag, and it falls incomplete near the back of the end zone. In the general direction of Jaray Jenkins, but he was on the turf.
Again, here's Cox, their best pass rusher. He's going to beat Rosenthal, the left tackle. And Max Johnson does well just to avoid him and then smartly throws the football away. Live to play 2nd down.
There's some contact there as Jenkins went across the middle of the field. Second and goal from the 9. Curry up the middle, lowers his head and powers to the 1. Amari Burney, a linebacker, made the stop.
Wow, what a great job by the left guard, Ed Ingram. We talked about Shanahan, the center. He and Ed Ingram have been the 2 most consistent players in that offensive line. Ingram did a great job getting up to the 2nd level and springing Curry close to the goal line.
Curry seeing the action with Emery not available. He had carried 23 times all season.
This is quarterback run. They're going to call timeout, but the way they were positioning Curry looked like they were going to run behind him with the quarterback Johnson.
And it's an LSU timeout.
Is on. The AT&T countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship, Monday, January 11th on ESPN.
With the semifinals on January 1st, Florida hoping to be among the 4 teams in the college football playoff. But in trouble here early in the second half, down by a touchdown, and LSU with a beautiful drive. This will be the 16th play of the drive. 3rd down and goal from just outside the 1.
And Chris Curry, the running back in the ball game.
Max Johnson looking to the sideline for guidance. Still plenty of time on the play clock. It is Curry to the goal line. They throw a flag. No indication of whether it was a touchdown. I don't think they're going to give him the touchdown. And it was thrown where you would expect a hold. Or hands to the face, or something of that variety.
This is timeout for an injured player. During the play, holding. Offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3rd down.
It's Chasen Hines, the right guard, number 57. It's away from the play. The play's going to the left. Chasen Hines, there's the hold right there in the middle of the formation.
And the question from the pylon cam, progressive pylon cam, is, was this a touchdown? That looks like it crossed the plane. The injured player is Chasen Hines, the right guard who was called for the holding penalty.
And they're working on his left knee.
Well, now it's still 3rd and goal. You move the ball back to the 12-yard line if you're LSU. Almost a certain throwing situation. Definitely in very makeable field goal range, but you've had a great drive. I think you give Max Johnson one more shot here to see if you can get a ball in the end zone.
Yes. Nothing too risky. I mean,
right. Be smart.
Take the 2-score lead.
That. Right.
And put the pressure on the Florida Gators. Hines limps off.
You know, we talked about the Florida offense missing their outstanding tight end Kyle Pitts in the red zone. LSU missing their outstanding freshman tight end Eric Gilbert in this part of the field as well. He's been replaced tonight by another true freshman, Cole Taylor, number 87, who's yet to have a pass reception this season.
I don't think they've targeted a tight end tonight. Gilbert, after Terrace Marshall, the wide receiver, opted out after the A&M game, was their number 1 receiver with 35 catches on the year. 5-star recruit out of Atlanta. 3rd down and goal. Would this be a Max Johnson quarterback draw, some such thing? No, it's a throw, and it's dropped. Probably wasn't going to be a touchdown anyway. They trade Bradford.
No, but Bradford was thinking about running to the goal line instead of catching the football. I mean, that's catch the ball first. Take care of your business. Maybe you get a chance to break a tackle, but you can't do it if you don't catch it.
I think LSU was expecting pressure, but it was a rush 3, drop 8, and that was not the right play call for that defense.
McCade York 1 for 1 tonight, a make from 39. This is from 30. And again, the dead center. And the line drive kick is good. So they take 6:31 off the second half clock and go 17 plays and 63 yards and get 3 points.
You couldn't ask for anything better than a touchdown, but the LSU defense in the first half was excellent in the red zone. This was a 4th down stop. Dan Mullen deciding to go for it after a penalty. They harassed Kyle Trask into 2 interceptions and a fumble. This one again in the red zone, but it was pressure, it was turnovers, and it was excellent red zone defense. Even though the Gators gained 346 yards of offense in the first half, LSU's defense still played a great 30 minutes of football with their disruptive plays.
Yeah, if it could feel like you played well on defense while giving up 340 and a half, I guess that's it because of the 3 takeaways. I think some very well-timed blitzes called by Bo Pelini. They came here without some key players and they lost even more. They were hoping, we started to talk about it earlier, Micah Baskerville played very well lately at linebacker, that he was going to be able to play. He didn't make the trip. They gave him a COVID test back home. He had some symptoms. Came back negative. They wanted to fly him over here today, but the medical people wouldn't allow them to do that. And then Derek Stingley was a late scratch after he warmed up. That quad not good enough to get him to participate tonight. The kickoff from Avery Atkins is another touchback, and we'll take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by AT&T 5G. Only 4 of the top 10 in action this week, including Alabama, an early start, and they hammered Arkansas. Georgia, an easy win. If Florida does not win tonight, Georgia will actually share the East, but Florida goes to the title game by virtue of their head-to-head win over the Bulldogs. Kyle Trask, deep throw, and into traffic and incomplete. Intended for Jacob Copeland. There is a flag down. It's the freshman Dwight McLaughlin, pressed into action tonight. He had only played in 5 of their first 8 games. He's going to be called for pass interference.
Well, it was a beautiful throw by Kyle Trask. I mean, right on the money. I thought McLaughlin made a pretty good play, but did he make early contact? Yep, there's the early contact. He does get a hand on the football, but he's just there early into the back of the receiver.
It was that left hand that got him.
Yep. But again, if that's not a perfect throw, probably doesn't draw that penalty.
Trask throws a great-looking deep ball, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He and Mac Jones of Alabama both do that exceptionally well.
Going deep again, and running under it is Tony. Pushed down and out of bounds. They'll mark him at the 11-yard line.
And Sean, this is what I love about Kyle Trask. He's not the most nimble-footed guy, but he's got good pocket movement. Watch him just slightly move to his left to buy a little more time. Just get some space, and then the perfect touch on the ball to Tony. But he's very good and agile in the pocket, just not the same outside the pocket.
Trask, a little screen to the right. Dameon Pierce. It's belted down just shy of the goal line. It looks like he got a first down. It'll be first and goal inside the 1.
Oh, missed tackle, first of all, by Damone Clark, number 18. And Pierce showed some strength breaking that tackle and getting the ball down to the 1-yard line. Take a look at the progressive pylon cam inside the 1 for the Gators.
Pierce. Trask thought he was going to get in, threw his hands in the air. Pierce got driven back. There's the early goal line stand by Bo Pelini's defense that's kind of set the tone.
I think you go quarterback run and pick up an extra blocker and use the big body of Trask to run.
Yes, his first rushing touchdown of the season tonight. He lunges and has his second rushing touchdown of the season. Both tonight.
See, when the quarterback runs, you pick up an additional blocker. And in this case, it's Pierce. So 27 becomes a blocker, and Kyle Trask goes airborne for the touchdown. He looked a little more nimble than I give him credit for on that play.
Well, that's a quick response by Florida. Just 1 minute and 37 and 4 plays to cover the 75 yards. Evan McPherson to get them back within 3. movement and contact as Andre Anthony jumped for LSU.
Offense, outside, defensive line with contact, half the distance. We'll play the try.
So Trask with 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, 1 passing. The passing touchdown is 39th of the season. That ties the single season school record set by Danny Werfel back in 1996. Back then they didn't count bowl game stats. Werfel threw 3 more in the Sugar Bowl that year. Trask is going to shatter that, you would think, with a couple more games to go. Tony's had a career night, 131 yards receiving on just 5 receptions. And his good work set up the touchdown by Trask. We're back in Gainesville, Florida. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge here in the booth. Todd McShay down on the field. Sunday, December 20th, it's the exclusive reveal of the college football playoff matchups. National semifinals in the Rose Bowl and the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. We'll also reveal the matchups for the New Year's 6 bowl games and the final top 25 rankings. That's Sunday, December 20th, noon Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. A lot of that will be figured out after the conference championship games next Saturday. Evan McPherson with the touchback. Josh Williams won't bring it back. Here's Matt Berry in the studio.
I think things are finally starting to settle in for Chip Kelly at UCLA right now. I think they're buying into him. I think that they're playing pretty good football. He's got a talented quarterback.
On first down for LSU, Chris Curry looked like he'd be dropped for a loss. He powered ahead and got 4 before Marco Wilson took him down.
We haven't seen Curry until the other guys got hurt in front of him. But the last time we saw Curry against Oklahoma in the semifinal game, he played exceptionally well.
And going up tempo again, he ran into a wall there as he got to the 31-yard line. Ventrell Miller, Mahmoud Diabate, and here's another injured offensive lineman. It's Austin Deculus. The only returning starter on the offense from last year's championship team. Senior, 33rd career start.
And I don't know, or is it?
Looks like they rolled up on the back of his right leg. We'll be back in a moment. Injuries to the right side of the LSU line here in the opening 2 drives of the second half. The first possession, which resulted in a field goal. Chasen Hines, the right guard, went out, and now Austin Deculus, the right tackle's out. So Cameron Wire has come in off the bench. He came in earlier to play guard. When Hines went out, he shifts out to tackle. Marlon Martinez, true freshman, number 77, in at right guard. Deculus looks like he's ready to come back in. Encouraging his teammates on this 3rd down and 4 with some fog rolling in to the swamp. Five-man rush. Max Johnson swung down by Ventrell Miller, the blitzing linebacker.
Well, they tried to fool Max Johnson and his offensive line. Look, they're showing pressure here. But these guys are going to drop out, and here's Miller. He's going to be the guy that comes on the blitz. They fake the blitz one side. Miller comes to the other side unblocked and gets the quarterback on the ground. Nice disguise on third down.
Miller, the quarterback and leader of that defense, according to Coach Grantham. What a punt by Zach von Rosenberg. It is downed inside the 20-yard line. 58-yard punt by the former minor league baseball pitcher in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. We saw a tweet not long ago from Mike White, the fine basketball coach here at Florida. Keep praying for Keontae and his family. We all love him. If you didn't see it earlier today, Florida's star basketball player Keontae Johnson collapsed in a game against Florida State in Tallahassee. Was taken to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. Last report in critical but stable condition. And certainly our thoughts and prayers have been with him all day. All of a sudden, Kyle Trask is Tim Tebow.
Well, you don't anticipate him to pull that on his zone read type play. That's why they were bearing down on the running back. And Trask with a nice positive game.
Your season's on the line. I mean, this is where Kyle Trask has to step up.
Yep.
Well, they took care of business very quickly on the last drive, scoring a touchdown in 4 plays. Still down by 3. Trask, man open! Jacob Copeland tripped up, or he was on his way to the end zone. They are taking advantage now of this inexperienced LSU secondary.
Well, it's 5 wide receivers, and again, Kyle Trask just finds the matchup he likes. Good protection and a perfect throw. Again, his touch and anticipation on the deep ball is outstanding. But he finds the one-on-one, and he exploits it.
40-yard gain. Back to the run with Malik Davis. We saw an interesting situation on the LSU sideline during that last timeout. Derek Stingley, who hasn't played at all tonight, he warmed up but couldn't give it a go. He was getting after some of his teammates, a couple different teammates, and it got heated to the point where a couple of the assistant coaches intervened and told him to back off.
Well, the question I had about this LSU defense, as great as they played, was could they sustain with the limited depth and the number of guys that they had to play.
They really couldn't afford any more losses to the roster, and they've had several here tonight. Malik Davis bounced off the hit. Poor tackling. And it's a 1st and goal down at the 9-yard line. Damone Clark finally shoved them out.
Great job by Justin Shorter at number 89, blocking downfield. These wide receivers take a lot of pride in being able to block in the screen game and the quick game.
Jay Ward, costly missed tackle for LSU. Swung out wide. Kadarius Toney puts Florida back on top. Career game for Kadarius Toney on senior night. 6 catches for 140 yards. And a touchdown.
Well, Todd McShay just talked about the blocking of the wide receivers and Justin Shorter. You're going to see it again, but this is also fatigue. These are defensive backs that are playing more snaps than they expected to play. That's a tired defensive back being blocked easily by Justin Shorter, and a touchdown. That's Jay Ward. He's been out there a lot, and Florida exploits that with the formation and the wide receiver blocking.
So Florida by 4, 3:11 to go. here in now foggy Gainesville. Another touchdown pass for Trask, his 40th single season Florida record, and now 4th most in a single season in SEC history. And Joe Burrow set the record last year, 16 more than anybody else. That one will be hard to break.
Well, and again, his numbers are starting to normal out. He's at 384 yards passing now.
Yes.
His 12th 300-yard game in his career.
Touchback off the foot of McPherson. Well, he's just moved up the list again. Single season pass yards in Florida history, past Danny Werfel. And next on the list is Rex Grossman.
Yeah. And I remember when he came in, I was at the Kentucky game, and he had to come in because of the injury to Felipe Franks. And I mean, he took over. He was prepared. This is a guy who never started. He never really was a starter, and he just came in, and it looked like he had been a starter for the last 7 years.
That was last year when he came in on necessity. He hadn't really started a game in 7 years between high school and college. Chris Curry tackled from behind by TJ Slayton. Much more energy in the crowd now. I think they realize, you know what, this is a little scary. It's still a game with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. You also get the feeling that LSU is going to have to score almost every time they get the ball now here. Todd, that's an incomplete pass for Jerry Jenkins, because you pointed out the fatigue is pretty obvious on that LSU defense.
The fatigue, the lack of substitutions to give guys rest. The longer this game goes now, the more exposed they're going to be, particularly those deep throws down the field by Kyle Trask.
And it's getting foggier by the minute. 3rd down and 9 for Max Johnson in LSU. They bring a deep blitz. He got away from it. Whoa, great effort to get to the first down marker. He didn't make it. Jaden Hill made sure that he didn't get there, and his teammates are fired up about that play.
Well, the back, Curry, missed the blitzing secondary guy. That's why Johnson had to leave, trying to extend the football to that first down marker. Kind of made himself vulnerable reaching up for it, and Jaden Hill gave him a shot right in the midsection. That was a heck of an effort by Max Johnson, though, to try to get the first down.
4th and a yard and a half. If you're Florida, you'd probably be alert for the possibility of a fake here. It is not a fake. It's Von Rosenberg again. Well, he might come back for another
might
year.
Help for a fake, too. You know? Could do something tricky.
Von Rosenberg is 30 years old. He is older than 23 punters in the NFL right now. And I mean, he looks like an NFL punter. I mean, he said, oh, I might come back for another year. Maybe see what the opportunity is at the next level.
Like Blutarski. Going to stay in college till he's 31 years old. Mr. Blutarski.
He spent 6 years in minor league baseball, did Von Rosenberg. Recruited to play baseball out of high school by LSU. Florida's offense in rhythm here in the second half. They start this possession on the run with Damian Pierce, and he got dumped by Andre Anthony.
You know, I want to go back to something, Sean. So again, Kyle Trask at 384 yards. That's his 12th game of over 300 yards. To put that in perspective, from 2010 to 2018, Florida quarterbacks combined for only 3 games of over 300 yards passing. In 8 years, he's done it 12 times in
20 career starts.
Yeah, not even 2 complete years.
Yeah, 20 career starts.
And the guy never started a game in high school.
Trask pursued from behind. Andre Anthony's been a presence on that defensive line tonight for LSU.
This is a huge play coming up for LSU's defense right now. They're kind of hanging on, but they have Florida backed up deep in their territory. It's 3rd and 9. If they can get a stop here for Bo Pelini's defense, they can flip the field and get their offense a decent starting position, but a critical 3rd and 9 play. See if they bring pressure on Kyle Trask on this play. Yep.
And they don't quite get there, and Trask not on the same page with his receiver Jacob Copeland as the ball drifted through the fog. Incomplete. Jabril Cox brought some pressure. He's on his way to the Senior Bowl. And this LSU season is over. It will not include a bowl game. They imposed their own bowl ban, which I have to admit I got a chuckle when I read it. And they're 3-5. But this year, though, you can go to a bowl game with a losing record. But a lot of these teams just want the season to end. And LSU probably more than just about anybody else. So
you got to
doesn't
catch
seem
that
like
ball.
much of a punishment. Beautiful punt by Jacob Finn. Well, here's how good punters are today. Zach Von Rosenberg of LSU came in averaging 44 yards per punt.
Right.
Back when we were growing up, those were Ray Guy numbers, right? He's 7th in the SEC in punting average.
I know.
At 44 yards per punt.
But I also think that net punting is just as important, if not more important. He's 42.2 in net punting. Now that's coverage also, and that's really good.
That's second in the SEC.
And they both are
Georgia
close to 50% in terms of punts inside the opponent's 20. So it's not just big legs, it's the accuracy.
On 1st and 10, Max Johnson. Nice catch by Cole Taylor. Diving attempt by the tight end. They're out without Eric Gilbert. So Cole Taylor, the true freshman from Colorado, has his second career catch. And that's what it looks like. The fog has come rolling into Gainesville. Chris Curry. Tough run.
It's kind of an eerie feeling for me, Sean. My last regular season high school football game, we played our arch rivals in a fog like this. We lost 7-0. Every time I am around football and fog, it just kind of gives me
Never
the
forget the
heebie-jeebies.
losses, right?
Never, ever.
I'll say this, though. On the actual field, there's really no fog. It's just kind of up in the middle of the stands. It's going to roll in eventually, but to this point, I don't think it affects any of the receivers or the quarterbacks in the passing game.
Well, that's good.
It's not yet the Fog Bowl. Was the Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs?
Yeah. Cole Taylor is a little bit shaken up. Again, he's the freshman tight end in for Eric Gilbert, and he's a little banged up at the end of that play.
Well, he'll have little time to rest, maybe get a little medical attention here in the break between quarters, because that is the end of the third quarter. At Ogeron, the LSU Tigers in the swamp, hoping for a big upset win. Florida leads 31-27 as we go to the fourth quarter here in foggy Gainesville. Done here in Gainesville. It's top-ranked boxing from Las Vegas. Rising star, and he's undefeated. Shakur Stevenson, 14-0, taking on the veteran Tauka Tan Clary. Now, I know it says on the graphic 10 p.m., but these guys want to see the end of the football game, too. So they're going to stay in the dressing room, get ready for the junior lightweight battle main event coming up next on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Still a lot of time left in this battle. Final 15 minutes. Max Johnson incomplete, we think. Todd McShay said down on the field it's really not that foggy. We've seen camera angles that indicate that, but from where we are, it's tough to see.
But this has to be a catch. I mean, this is 2nd and 7. The ball game's on the line. Your defense is fatigued. That's a good throw by Max Johnson, and Boutte's got to come up with that ball, because 3rd and 7 now plays into the hands of this creative Florida pass rush.
Todd McShay tells us Boutte's never been a good fog player. That could be it.
Boy, he does his research.
He sure does. He's on top of everything. Will Todd Grantham bring a blitz? Yes, he does. Max Johnson incomplete. Trying again for Boutte. Here comes a flag. He turned around looking for a penalty flag, and I think Marco Wilson's going to get called for pass interference or holding.
And Marco's had a great night, too.
Either way, it's going to be a first down for LSU.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3.
No doubt.
He mugged him.
Automatic first down.
I mean, he held him first, and then he came over the top early. So, I mean, take your choice. But the drive continues for LSU.
Butte, the true freshman, really now their #1 receiving threat. Opt-outs in the last couple of weeks of Terrace Marshall and Eric Gilbert. Chris Curry up the middle, lowers his head and gets about 13. He's near midfield.
He's wearing that coveted number 18 jersey. Nice block by the freshman tight end Cole Taylor. Kind of that little replacement play. We saw Thaddeus Moss do that a lot last year.
We're going to stay on this camera for a better look without the fog, and it's Butte with the catch. We think from where we are down around the 10-yard line with Brad Stewart in coverage.
Second time they bring the corner blitz. The safety doesn't get over. It's a little double move this time by Butte. He gets separation from the nickelback Brad Stewart, and Brad Johnson reads it again.
Max Johnson having a terrific first career start. Chris Curry gets them down to the 5-yard line.
And he loves tempo. I mean, every single play he's looking over to the sideline. Get it to me. Give me the play. Let's go. Let's go. And that tempo has helped them offensively. He plays a sudden game.
Well, understandably so, because it has worked when they've gone at a quicker speed. Curry down inside the 4. Nice tackle by Donovan Steiner, senior safety out of Houston. Big play here.
Yes. Big call right here for Steve Ensminger. Scott Linehan.
Austin Deculus, the right tackle, has returned. Jason Hines, the starting right guard, has not come back, so it's still Cameron Wire there. On 3rd and goal with a man right in his face. Johnson on target for a touchdown to Trey Bradford. His first career touchdown. He's a true freshman out of Dallas. He had touched the ball only twice all season. 1 rush and 1 catch all year prior to tonight.
Excellent call, because they're going to get a little bit of a wall off here, and the motion man is going to go right out in the flat, and it's well executed. Great call on 3rd and goal. They get the separation, and they get the touchdown.
With 4 yards, we have our 5th lead change of the night. Cade York, the extra point. LSU up by 3 with 13-14 to go, and what a thrill for Bradford, his first career touchdown.
Motion, you had 3 receivers coming inside. That was able to screen off those inside defenders for the Gators. Really a good call, and another great answer by the LSU football team. And they were able to extend the drives. The penalty helped in one case on the 3rd down, but they let their defense rest a little bit.
And give the defense credit for getting off the field the last time out there, because it looked like they were gassed.
Yep.
But they forced the punt. Trey Bradford, the touchdown. He's a 4-star prospect at Lancaster High School in Texas.
This is the pass interference that extended the drive on a 3rd down play. And then they beat the corner blitz for the 2nd time in the ball game. Butte with the catch, making up for the one he dropped a couple plays before that. And then a beautiful call and executed play on the goal line play on the touchdown to Bradford.
The long pass to Butte was 41 yards. Ed Ogeron keeps saying this is going to be a momentary blip this season. They have young talent ready to help bring him back, and we're seeing some of those guys tonight.
I think it's pretty clear they found their quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, Miles Brennan really did nothing to lose the job in those 3 games he played. He was averaging 371 yards per game passing. They were scoring over 37 points per game. Avery Atkins, touchback. Coming up tonight on the SEC Network, it's SEC football final. Dari Noka, Gene Chizik, Chris Doring, Roman Harper, recapping the biggest football storylines. This will be the biggest in the SEC if LSU pulls off this upset.
Alabama
tonight after Auburn and Mississippi State over on SEC Network.
Alabama was impressive today. Georgia was impressive today. That was a good win against a hot Missouri team. Eli Drinkwitz's first year, his team was playing pretty well.
Yeah, as we told at the beginning of the year, they'd win 5 games. The new coaching staff, Malik Davis just tripped as he got to the 30. You know, and it was, we laughed at the beginning of the year because they added 2 conference games for everybody, and they gave Missouri, I can't remember, but it was, I think it was Alabama and LSU.
Yeah, I think that is exactly
okay, we have to give you 2 more games.
Yeah.
So to win 5, very impressive at Mizzou this year.
So one of the things that Dan Mullen talked to us about, although this is a different circumstance, he talked about learning how to win the fourth quarter. And a lot of times that's been situations where they've had a big lead and they've had to use the clock. This is different. They're behind now. So they're in a little different situation in this fourth quarter than they're used to being in.
And gouging them deep regularly. They go to 2 running plays here to start this possession, both for Malik Davis for a total of 7 yards. 3rd down and 3. Trask over the middle and incomplete. Trying to get it to Keon Zipperer. Jabril Cox broke it up.
See, that's what makes Jabril Cox special. I mean, he's a linebacker and he's going to get a little bit bigger, but he has coverage skills. I mean, you know, he can play almost like a nickel back because he can run.
There was a little hesitation here before Dan Mullen sent the punt team out.
Too much time left.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't run. I mean, it really was a 5-man box.
Jacob Finns had a couple of bombs. So Todd McShay down there in the field. Any difficulty for the return man finding the punt?
My weather forecast has changed. The fog has come down here now.
Jay Ward back there waving everybody away.
It was really just in the stands before, but now it's on the field, and it's going to affect the passing game.
Punt is down at the 16-yard line. 1st and 10, LSU.
It's a 53-yard punt. They scored on their last possession. And LSU comes back on offense after this. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. The Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. Much more competitive than many expected. LSU 23-point underdog, leads by 3. And the Tigers have the ball with 11:52 to go, 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. True freshman Max Johnson's been impressive at quarterback. Chris Curry, very little there. Brenton Cox involved in another tackle, as was Dante Lang and Ventrell Miller.
And you got to believe that Davis, Price, and Emery are both too injured to come back. We haven't seen them a long time. It's been Curry. We saw Bradford, the freshman, on the touchdown play, their last possession.
They're probably now, they probably have fewer than 50 scholarship players available. On 2nd and 8, Johnson on target. Short gain to Trey Palmer, sophomore from Kentwood, Louisiana.
Well, I'll tell you what, my old partner, Mike Patrick, would be happy to know that Kentwood, Louisiana is the home of Britney Spears, by the way.
Chris Curry, a little bit of an inside joke there, but
sentences I'd never expected to hear.
Wonder what she's doing with her life these days.
Suing her dad right now.
All righty. Due to time constraints, we're going to move ahead to the action. That was Chris Curry picking up the 1st down. So a 3-point lead. And now Johnson in no hurry.
No, the clock is his friend right now. You don't want to take your foot off the gas completely and get conservative, but the more time you can run off, the more pressure you put on Florida.
Number 51.
Yeah, that one hurts right there.
Yep.
Hopefully they wanted to stick with a pretty steady dose of Chris Curry in the run game, but Dare Rosenthal flinched, and now they're looking at 1st and 15.
Again, I mentioned this earlier. The last time we saw Chris Curry a lot was against Oklahoma in the semifinal game last year. He had 16 carries for 89 yards because Clyde Edwards-Helaire was banged up and they were trying to rest him. And Curry played really well.
He's a sophomore back home in Florida. He's from Lehigh Acres. They give it to him on a draw. And he lunged ahead, got the penalty yardage back. Here's Matt Barry.
Second down and 10.
We see what you did there, Matt. Johnson to the sideline, has a man open. The defender's on the ground. Jeray Jenkins weaves across midfield and goes to the Florida 42-yard line.
That was Marco Wilson. He just fell down out of bounds. It was a nice throw by Max Johnson on time to Jenkins, but the best cover guy for Florida, Marco Wilson, just absolutely fell down.
32-yard gain. Back to the run they go. They try Josh Williams, giving Chris Curry a breather. That's just his 9th carry of the season. He's a redshirt freshman from Houston, Texas. Now we're under 9 minutes to go. LSU trying to avoid being the first defending national champ to have a losing season since 1943. Leading by 3 and driving again. Williams, like he had some room outside, couldn't get outside. Ventrell Miller there. Mahmoud Diabate.
I'm not sure why he cut that back in. You know, this is a zone play that's supposed to hit to the right side of the formation, and he ran into 2 unblocked defenders. That was a bad decision by the running back Williams.
3rd down and 7. Probably not in range for a field goal try. And the pass is dropped by Trey Bradford. A little swing pass. And that brings up 4th and 7. This would be about a 59-yard field goal.
I think you got to punt the football here. I mean, your defense has played well. They've gotten back-to-back stops. The pressure is all on Florida. You got to punt the football and hope that you can drop one inside the 10-yard line here. And really, the returners have been reluctant to catch the football because of the fog. So if you just can get one to the corner, you might be able to pin them back really deep.
I mentioned earlier, Von Rosenberg's had more punts down inside the 20 than any punter in the conference, and this one will be downed at the 1-yard line.
And Tony wanted nothing to do with it because of the fog.
It was Keyshawn Butte down there to down it at the 1. Florida down by 3, 7:47 to go.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits. And in part by Samsung QLED TV, the official TV of ESPN College Football.
Well, these two teams played an exciting game last year in Baton Rouge, both in the top 7 of the country. Florida led by 7 midway through the 3rd quarter, but LSU ripped off 21 straight points. The last points on that Burrow to Jamar Chase 54-yard score. LSU by 3 tonight, nearly midway through the 4th quarter, and Florida starts from its own 1. Kyle Trask launching it deep up into the fog out of the end zone. And we think it went out of bounds on the far sideline in the general direction of Trayvon Grimes.
I mean, the receivers are going to have trouble seeing those high arching passes. I mean, it's going to be difficult.
It's a combination of the fog and then the lights into the fog. When you're looking back and trying to see it, I was having trouble finding the ball in the punt. It came in for Tony.
2nd and 10 from their own 1. Run fake, Trask launching it. High throw, too high for Kadarius Toney. Well, if you're Kyle Trask and you want to win the Heisman, here's your moment.
That's right.
Take your team on a 99-yard drive in a game you absolutely have to have with an eye toward making the college football playoff.
Little slow start, particularly with the turnovers. He's been much better, but he's got a critical situation now from deep in his own territory. And you can't afford an offensive holding penalty here with your offensive line either.
It'll be 3 straight 3 and outs. Trask in that end zone a long time. Heaves it deep. And incomplete. He just threw a 50-50 ball and hoped that his man Grimes would get it. He did not. Jabril Cox, mentioned as a linebacker, but he can cover like a nickel way back downfield to knock that one down.
Well, they anticipated that Jabril Cox would be covering Kyle Pitts a lot tonight. That's how much confidence they had in his coverage ability. He is way down the field on this one, running with the tight end and in excellent position.
Jacob Finn has to make sure he doesn't go out of the back of that end zone. Just let it look like Florida had the LSU defense on its heels. 3 straight 3 and outs. Jay Ward, fair catch. He had a lot of room.
He had a lot of room.
As he caught it at the 48-yard line.
And it's the fog
They're
again.
just so nervous trying to catch it. You know,
Actually,
I mean,
it's
because
Coy Moore, the other
it.
number 5. Back there for the punt. They have 2 5s. There's Coy Moore. There's a wide receiver. Part of the thing too is you don't want to take your eye off the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look at the coverage team coming at you.
I mean, even if you catch it, you're going to start in good field position, which they are. So just catch the football cleanly.
From the Florida 48, Chris Curry back in there, spins up the middle for a couple, dropped by Ventrell Miller, a redshirt junior from Lakeland.
I like the way Ventrell Miller plays. I mean, he's a very active guy. Todd Grantham said he's kind of been a self-made player. He didn't always have it together, wasn't always a great player. Very smart, works hard, real good communicator.
In better shape.
Yes.
That was the key, according to Coach Grantham, and worked hard to learn this system. The Tigers in no hurry now on offense.
Every time they're trying to get lined up, 51's a guy helping.
Curry trying to turn the corner and cannot. Blasted again by Ventrell Miller.
Well, he diagnoses it. Here he is right here. He's going to just take a great angle to the football. Curry not the fastest of these LSU running backs, and Miller gets a good angle right to the ball and brings up 3rd down.
3rd and 9 as we approach 6 minutes to go. Max Johnson has a receiver and it's too high. Butte had position on the defender, Kyer Elam. The ball sailed over his head, and that's a 3 and out.
Well, he's going for Butte, but if he throws here, watch this receiver. He's going to be open. He's looking for Butte short. But if he stays with Coy Moore, number 5, he's got a big play. Coy Moore is going to break open. He tries to force one to Butte, but Coy Moore was a more open option for Max Johnson on that play.
And here's Von Rosenberg, who got one down at the 1 last time. This one's a fair catch at the 15 by Kadarius Toney. 5:49 to go. Still LSU by 3. And we look forward to it, Joe. Set up for an exciting finish here. LSU leading by 3. Florida 3 straight 3 and outs on offense. They've run only 18 plays in this half to 42 for LSU. They start on the run. Here's Kadarius Toney having a big night, and that continues. Fighting his way across the 45-yard line. Eli Ricks finally managed to stop him. That's good for 32.
Outstanding blocking by the wide receivers downfield. You got 3 of them out there. Justin Shorter, he's been doing this all night. And Toney wasn't even touched till he was about 20 yards down the field.
Trask is 1 out of 5 passing here in the fourth quarter for 3 yards. In the fog, has a man open. Here comes Tony again. Yanked down at the LSU 39-yard line. That's a 14-yard play.
When we were in commercial and they were huddling up, you could see Tony talking to the coaches. You could tell that they were just going to feed him. This is his time. He's played the best game of any player on this field, and I think that he's going to be the guy that they ride with for the rest of the night.
155 receiving yards tonight is a career high. Set the high last week against Tennessee. Another deep throw, and it's Copeland pulled down inside the 10. Ricks prevented the touchdown, but the Gators, in the blink of an eye, inside the 10-yard line, trying to recapture the lead.
Well, there was 2 defenders there looking at Tony. That left single coverage outside on Copeland, and that's what Kyle Trask read. LSU tried to take away Tony on that one. He went somewhere else with the football for a big play.
30 yards. Malik Davis, the running back. Look out, Trask, and he threw it away with the rush right in his face. Andre Anthony harassing the quarterback again for LSU.
You know, Kyle Trask had to play 2 games this year without Kyle Pitts already, and he didn't really miss a beat. I mean, he threw great, had great numbers against Arkansas and Vanderbilt. In the Vanderbilt game, it was Tony who stood up. 6 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Even better tonight. In the Arkansas game, it was Trayvon Grimes who stepped up. But Tony has certainly been the go-to guy in this one.
Second down.
Matt, what do we have here?
I think they called intentional grounding.
Yeah, they called intentional grounding. I don't think Trask ever got out of the pocket.
No, he's straight back. No, not even close to out of the pocket.
Yep, that's a good call.
Okay.
So it's a loss of down. They move the ball back to the 16. Malik Davis remains the running back. They give it to him on a delay. Bounced off the pile, stumbles head first down at the 11-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal. And they spot it back on the 12. They are in field goal range, which would tie it. Big play call here for Dan Mullen.
Well, again, if you're LSU, you better pay attention to Tony. Trayvon Grimes has been very quiet here in the second half. Tony is right here in the slot, and Grimes is on the other side of the formation.
.340 to go. Number 6 Florida down by 3. Trask steps up, avoids a sack, is going to try to take off and run, and he got walloped. Jacoby Stevens low and Andre Anthony up high, who's been tremendous tonight for the Tigers, and here comes the field goal team to try to tie it.
Well, B.J. Ojulari, number 8, is also going to get in there. He's the guy who had the first shot at Kyle Trask. Couldn't get him on the ground, and then you see the rest of the Tigers converge to force the field goal attempt. Good stop on 3rd down by LSU.
Evan McPherson, one of the best in the country. 31-yard try to tie it as we go under 3 minutes to go. And it is good. Well, they went 72 yards, but the drive stalled. McPherson, the junior, has tied the game at 34. 2:51 to go. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Evan McPherson's field goal has just tied this at 34. 2:51 to go. Second tie. There have been 5 lead changes. Very entertaining SEC game on what has become a foggy night here in Gainesville, Florida. Evan McPherson, a touchback. Here's Joe Tessitore. All right, Joe. You know how much you love football. Enjoy the rest of this one. And we'll settle in for a great night of boxing.
Sean, if you're LSU, you got to try to win this football game in the last 250. I don't think you can beat Florida here in overtime. And Kyle Trask.
Max Johnson, a little too high through the hands of Coy Moore. True freshman wide receiver. Johnson in his starting debut, 19 for 34 for 236, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's also rushed for 43 yards with an inexperienced cast around him.
I think Steve Ensminger thought the same thing, why he called that pass on first down. It was a safe throw. Try to get that easy completion to start this drive.
Johnson, design run, nowhere to go. He got knocked back at the line of scrimmage. TJ Slayton, senior from Fort Lauderdale.
And Slayton did a nice job of reading that play, just sliding down the line of scrimmage.
This is a tough call right now.
Yep.
You get aggressive, or do you just concede and punt?
I think you have to try to be aggressive and make a first down.
It's always loud in the swamp, even with only 17,000 fans here, making a lot of noise. Approaching 2 minutes to go. In the flat. Can Cole Taylor get there? No, nowhere near the line to make. Tried to go up and over and could not escape from Marco Wilson and Trevez Johnson. Is there a flag down? We have no chance of seeing that from our booth in this fog.
He had 3 routes that would have been first down distance. He dumped it off very quickly to Cole Taylor. We'll find out what the discussion is about, but there were 3 routes that were running past the first down marker. So it was an aggressive call.
I think what the penalty is going to be because one of the Florida defensive players ripped off the cleat of 87 and threw it down the field.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 11 of the defense, throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. Automatic first down.
I don't think I've ever heard an official announce throwing a player's shoe.
Well,
and it wasn't 11. It was Marco Wilson.
Right, it was 3.
And Marco Wilson's got to know better than that. He's
There's
a
no
veteran
reason
guy.
to do it. I saw a cleat going through the fog, and I couldn't believe it. And then the flags all came in.
I mean, they had to stop. They were going to get the ball back to Kyle Trask with just under 2 minutes and 3 timeouts. And now they give LSU new life.
And they don't have far to go to get into field goal range. Cade York's made 8 in his career from beyond 50 yards, including 4 out of 5 this season. Neither team using its timeouts yet on this final drive. Max Johnson, nice call and well executed.
Sean, that was one of the worst penalties I've seen in a long time.
It's terrible.
I mean, that is a horrible penalty. I mean, you're playing for your playoff lives right now if you're Florida. I mean, forget next week. You got to win tonight to keep your big dreams alive, and you just gave new life to LSU.
Chris Curry up the middle. They're at least on the fringe of field goal range here now. He's down to the 40. Cade York's career long is 53. That was earlier this year, second game of the year at Vanderbilt.
Again, I don't get conservative here. I want to make it as easy for Cade York as I can. Be aggressive, Max Johnson, but be smart with the football.
First and 10. Trying to draw Florida offside, get the easy 5. Curry, they lose yards. That could be a big deal.
Can't
just
bounce out.
A couple of yards difference could be the difference between making a field goal and missing it.
Got to stay inside. You're not going to bounce out against this Florida defense. They're too quick. Again, that was another nice play by Slayton, number 56 on the inside, disrupting that play.
Timeout.
LSU has 1 timeout left. Chris Bogle, the tackle on the last play for Florida. 43 seconds to go, tied at 34.
Well, here's the play. Taylor makes the catch. He's stopped well short of the first down. Shoe comes off, and Marco Wilson launches it. And just, again, just flabbergasted by that penalty. And it extends the LSU drive, and at least is going to give them an opportunity to try to set up a game-winning field goal.
Well, Florida loses this game on a field goal. They'll be talking about that penalty on Marco Wilson for a long time. Redshirt junior, played a lot of football. His 34th career start tonight out of American Heritage in Fort Lauderdale. They put a couple of seconds back on the clock.
LSU with 1 timeout left. They got to be very careful with that. Save that to the last possible moment.
Probably feel good about a field goal try with 6 or 7 more yards. Don't necessarily need to get another first down to get in range for York. Curry fighting for every critical yard, gets stacked up.
I've always wondered what it's like to be 36 right now. Cade York, the plate kicker.
Well,
all by
it's
yourself.
Interesting here, Todd, because you wonder, if you're LSU and you think you're in field goal range, you just let the clock go down now, I would think.
Right.
You don't want to use your last time out and then have a scramble.
Yeah, they just did.
To get them out there on 4th down. Well, I think that's a mistake.
Well, they ran. They chose to run it. And yeah, you're right. If they thought they were in field goal range, they could have done that. I don't know if they think they're there yet or not. Or where Coach Orgeron is perfectly comfortable. So now, with no timeouts in 32 seconds, you almost have to throw the football.
Yeah,
it's
but,
3rd and 8.
They've gone up tempo at times tonight. You'll run one more play quickly and save your timeout.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
You have to throw now because you have to throw because you can't spike it, right?
Or if you run, you got to have the field goal team ready to run out there.
And when I talked to Coach O, just so everyone knows, before the game, he said he's comfortable if they need it around the 40-yard line.
Well, they're inside the 40.
Exactly.
Why I'm surprised they used the timeout. This kid has a big leg. 4 out of 5 from 50 plus this year. They are going to try to throw it, but it's a tackle inbounds.
Got to run them out now.
Yeah, and it's a loss. And they are running the field goal team out.
I mean,
they lost a couple yards on that play. Why is the clock stopped?
Oh boy.
What?
Well, Florida apparently is taking the timeout.
First charge timeout of the half, Florida.
Wow.
30-second timeout.
I mean, I guess they want to leave themselves time if the field goal's good.
Or if it's missed.
Or if
the field goal's missed, you got good field position,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
However,
you don't have to go far.
However, that is such a chaotic play when you have to run your field goal team on. Even though you practice it, you're on the road, you're in the fog, you're the underdog. That's chaos trying to win a game that way. The fact that Florida called timeout helps Cade York and LSU.
I still think they made the mistake using the timeout early. So here's York, sophomore from McKinney, Texas. 8 out of 10 in his career from 50 plus. Made one from 52 last week against Alabama. This looks like it's going to be 57. Breeze not a factor. This is for the lead in the final 30 seconds. Career long 53. Snap and hold are good. Did he get all of that? It's right down the middle, and it is good from 57 yards. LSU takes the lead with 23 seconds to go.
Wow. What a clutch kick.
And that's exactly where Coach Orgeron said, at the 40, I'm comfortable. 57-yard kick, and it was perfect.
And you understand why Dan Mullen wanted time in case they made it, or if it was a miss, they'd have good field position. But I agree with you, it's a 50-50 call because you take away scramble mode from the LSU field goal team.
Yep, take all the anxiety out of it from that standpoint. And what a cool customer Cade York proved to be.
Well, he was a key member of their championship team last year. We talk about how good punters are today, and these kickers are great as well. And we'll be talking about this for a long time. Gator Nation. Penalty by Wilson when they had LSU stopped and going to force a punt. Now they have a kicker of their own who can blast them, Evan McPherson, but they're not going to have much time to get him into range, and it is almost in all likelihood going to be a touchback, and they'll have to start from the 25. I don't think you squib it here, right? You got a touchback machine in Avery Atkins.
Kick it
Give him
out.
the ball at the 25.
Kick it out.
Make them earn the yards.
Florida will have 2 timeouts.
Here comes Atkins. He does kick it deep.
Florida's got to be thinking about Kyle Trask hitting something deep down the seams. He's been very accurate throwing those seam routes. And again, let's not forget, even though LSU has the lead, even though they've played great, they're without their 3 top corners. Without Stingley, without Flott, and without Rick. I mean, they are down to their bare bones when it comes to their defensive backs.
And they have given up some big pass plays here tonight.
And Florida has a kicker in Evan McPherson who's connected on 4 of 5 beyond 50 yards
this season.
So LSU with 3 safeties in the ball game right now.
In prevent mode. Trask fires to the sideline. Is that a catch in bounds? Yes, it is. For Trayvon Grimes. We'll have to rely on the camera because we can't tell where they are from there. They're at the 40-yard line with 2 timeouts, 17 seconds to go.
So Jacoby Stevens, number 7, is kind of playing in the middle of the field right here. And then they've got 2 other deep safeties. So a lot of zone, kind of a soft coverage right now in front of Kyle Trask.
Just a 3-man rush thrown over the middle, almost hit the official. That's Kadarius Toney down in bounds. The clock stops for a moment to move the chains. They need to use one of those 2 timeouts. 10 seconds to go. The career long for McPherson is 55. From here, this would be about 59.
Now, if you're Bo Pelini, do you change your thinking coverage-wise? They've hit 2 plays underneath. They're getting closer to field goal range. Do you now go to man coverage and try to bring some pressure on Kyle Trask? You're rushing 3, you're dropping 8. Kyle Trask is taking what you give him. And if you do that one more time, he'll get another completion in field goal range. Kadarius Toney a little slow, banged up a little bit at the end of that play.
He's still down.
I think you have to change your coverage right now if you're Bo Pelini, because if you do that same rush 3, drop 8, and Kyle Trask hits one more 12 to 15-yard pass, they're in field goal range.
I think they're in field goal range right now, at least for a long, 55 of his career long. This is only 2 yards more. These guys can bomb them.
You're right. They can.
Yeah, York's field goal would have been good from this distance.
And how about Toney, too, injured, and then just comes back on the field?
And Kyle Trask still has 1 timeout, so no matter where the ball's complete, he's good.
It's still just a 3-man rush. He pulls it down. Juggling catch made by Toney. 2 seconds left. They get the last timeout. And so it'll go to McPherson, and you have to like Florida's chances here. In his career, 87% field goal percentage. Entering tonight, 46 for 53.
Now that was really good execution by Kyle Trask, reading what LSU was doing, taking what the defense was going to give him, and instead of getting it in one big play, he took 3 completions and surgically moved his team into position to tie it and force overtime.
You saw the updated numbers on his percentage with the 2 for 2 tonight. This is to send it to overtime. From 51, it is hooking. It is no good! Barely wide to the left. Florida is upset by LSU in the Swamp. What a win for the Tigers in a season in which almost nothing has gone right. Evan McPherson, one of the great kickers in college football today, one of the greats in the history of this program. He's made 4 career 50-yard plus field goals, most in a single season in Florida history, but he couldn't make the 5th.
A little bit of pressure from the outside by Jay Ward might have affected him.
Snap and hold looked good. The snapper, Brett Diagardi. The holder, Jacob Finn. Cade York made his field goal. McPherson missed his.
What a win for LSU. They came here with 54 scholarship players. They lost another 4 or 5 during the game. Unbelievable.
Here's Todd McShay with Ed Ogeron.
Coach, you have a true freshman quarterback who comes in for his first start in Florida at the Swamp, Max Johnson. What can you tell me about how he played and what you thought about him?
Boys, confidence, grit. I think Max is going to be a championship quarterback. So is TJ. I'm so proud of our young quarterbacks. I'm also proud of our young football team. We came to beat a great football team at their home in the Swamp.
You got about 20 guys from last year's team that are going to be in the NFL if they're not already in the NFL. You lost all of your cornerbacks. How proud are you of the guys that were still on the field?
So proud, man. They fought. They gave everything. We said last night, we're going to give everything that we possibly can for the LSU Tigers. I'm so proud of this team, the players, and the coaching staff.
Appreciate it, Coach. Congratulations.
Go Tigers.
Had to get one of those in.
Well, they played hard all night long.
They did.
Their first win against a ranked team this season, their 3rd-ranked opponent. Cade York, the hero. He and McPherson were both 4 out of 5 from 50-plus on the year, leading the nation in field goal percentage from that distance. And that's what it came down to in the final analysis. What a night for Max Johnson and for LSU. So they could avoid being the first defending national champ to have a losing season if they win their finale against Ole Miss. What a game. Top-ranked boxing from Las Vegas coming up next.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.